Wow, the Wavelink banner on Twitch does not look good.
Uh-oh.
No. Oh, that's okay. Alright, stream is starting. Let me pop out
Should we
the
wait
chat.
like 30 minutes to start the stream?
Why? I'd say we just go now, you know, sometimes
I'm
it's like,
already
we're
live.
ready.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I'm damn US. Hold up. They can hear us now.
Muting?
I'm muting.
Are we unmuted?
We are. Hello, everyone! Welcome to our Wavelink 2.0 overview and Q&A. We're super excited to show you guys the biggest Wavelink update ever. So we can't wait to talk to you guys, walk you guys through, live demo things for you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask during each topic. We do have each segment for you guys ready. And for those of you guys who are new, welcome on in. My name is Jasmine. I'm the Senior Community Specialist over at Elgato.
Are you real, Jasmine?
No, I'm
Okay,
not real.
thanks for confirming.
Hi, Phil,
That
you're
is
up.
true.
I'm up, okay. Hey everyone, I'm Phil. I'm on the technical marketing team for Elgato, and I am super excited to talk to you guys about Wavelink 2.0. We've been cooking this update for quite a while now, and thinking a little bit back about where Wavelink started and where it is today, and just everything new in this update. Oh yeah, it's good. It's good.
And I'm James. I'm on the technical marketing specialist team with Phil here. So me and him typically work a lot side by side. Like he was saying, Wavelink 2.0 is really interesting to see from the beginning to it is now. And of course, we have a lot to go over. So I'm really excited to talk with you guys about that.
Let's
I think you can
go.
tell my voice.
I have a question right away for chat. Who here in the chat has already, like watching, has already installed it and used it?
Ooh, raise your hands, guys. Raise your hands.
If not, that's okay
A
because we're gonna
poll.
go
Kind of
over
sort of poll.
everything. But if you have, then well, awesome. Thanks for being here.
And we have a lot more. So I have some commands here ready for you guys as well to learn more about it. If you guys want to go ahead and check it out, there's two ways to download it, either directly from our downloads page or just from the app itself. So check the settings. But first, we do want to give a round of applause to our beta testers. So James, I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to you.
Yes, we want to, of course, if you have been on our subreddit, you've probably seen some of our betas we've done. The Wavelength beta in particular was one of our biggest, I would probably say actually our biggest beta launch we've done. We got a lot of feedback and a lot of different inputs from the community, which is really awesome. So we really thank you guys for coming over to the subreddit and giving that feedback. It was very helpful for our development team and to work with you guys on a one-on-one basis to see your guys' inputs on that. So thank you guys for coming to the subreddit and giving your feedback on the beta. Something to note though, we are doing betas pretty often. So, right now we are having a camera hub beta right now. So if you're ever interested, definitely check out the subreddit and the announcement post section. We typically have one going on.
Get to see all
So I'm getting
the
choked up just
cool
thinking
new.
about it.
That was beautiful.
Let's go.
Beautiful.
So beautiful. Can we get all the hearts in chat, please, for our amazing, incredible beta testers? Because without you guys, it would have been, it's just nice to have you guys just help give out feedback and find all the bugs that maybe we couldn't have found. So thank you guys so much for helping us with the beta testing.
I
And
also just want to recognize, sorry to butt in, I want to recognize the dangers that you partake in as a beta tester. Some of us
mhm.
like to live really safe, and some of us
Oh,
like
yeah.
to live on the edge. And if you install beta software on your computer, you're living on the edge.
Yep.
You're at the foreground, you're a pioneer, and we want to thank you for that. And thank you for entrusting, your computer with our software and our hardware. I myself do this quite a bit because I always just like checking out all the new features, even if it breaks
Yeah.
something. So, but no, in all seriousness, it is extremely helpful for us. And again, it's really cool because you get to check out features early and provide feedback, which we in turn, in some cases, can turn around in a matter of days. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, or sometimes something that gets added in that we didn't even think before. So, if you're interested in that kind of thing, definitely go check out the betas that we have available.
Yep, I just linked
Just
our
kind
Reddit
of
as well.
setups and software. I'm gonna say there's like the different kind of setups and softwares that people use. So we don't, there's so many different kinds out there. So it's definitely good to get some feedback, and especially if it's something not working correctly, we want to get it fixed. So thank you guys.
Woohoo! All the love, all the love. So I also have linked right there Reddit for you guys. That is the best place to get any news about our, future betas if you guys want to join and, have a little sneak peek into some new things we have cooking. As James mentioned before, we currently do have a camera hub beta that is live right now in case you guys want to test it. But otherwise, I want to see a show of hands. How many of you guys here know about Wavelink? And how many do not? Out of curiosity. I do wanna
And
see. Maybe if
and
we
no
get a poll.
lying, alright?
Yeah,
I
no
see you in the
lying.
back there. You can no, don't go on your phone and, like, start Googling it quickly, like, no, no, no. We gotta be real here.
No worries, no worries. Okay, we have someone that doesn't know. That's good. That's good. Because then that means it's the perfect time for you to be here. If you don't know about Wavelink or you're here to learn, this is the perfect stream for you. And do not also don't worry because you will see the VOD will be up and it'll also be on YouTube. So you guys have two ways to look back in case you guys have any other questions or need to kind of look at it again. But let's go and start off with what is Wavelink?
Crickets. No. So what is
That's a
what is
good take.
what is Wavelink? Um, why don't I take us a little bit down memory lane for a second? We launched Wavelink in, was it 2021? I always get the 2 mixed up, 2020 or 2021 with, the original Wave 1 and the Wave 3, and back then, it was really just meant to, fix a particular problem, which was the issue of audio routing, right? If you live stream today in something like OBS and you want to get audio, to your headphones, to your stream, but you also wanna, like, mix and match and have different levels, and maybe you don't want music, maybe you want a VOD track, maybe, this, that, the other thing, that's basically the power, and that's what Wavelet gave you. It then evolved into also processing your audio, as in not just like routing it and having it go different places, but also processing it in terms of enhancing your sound. So if you want to add different audio effects to your microphone, you could add an EQ, a compressor. If you want to add well, in fact, like to a voice chat, if you want to add some fun sound effects and your friends can sound like they're all demons or chipmunks, you could do something like that, right? So it kind of evolved first from audio routing and mixing to then audio processing. And then really today, Wavelink is essentially like an audio suite. It's a bunch of different tools combined. It's still that audio routing, it's still that audio mixing, but we've added a bunch of other stuff to it now, including things like, well, there's of course Stream Deck integration. There's voice focus, which we'll talk about. It also helps you figure out if you sound good, or if maybe your mic needs some tweaking with sound check. We've made the configuration a lot simpler. There's a third output called microphone effects if you want to just use it for, say, voice calls. There's a bunch of stuff. And so that's kind of what Wavelink is. It's first and foremost a audio like mixing and routing app. Secondly, audio processing. And of course, it kind of depends on which you prefer more, right? Some people do only processing, so you can ignore the routing side, and some of you might only do audio routing and ignore the processing. And then there's a bunch of other stuff around that as well to just make sure that your audio sounds good and that you have total control over it.
And just to add on that too, one thing I really like about Wavelink is even though it's software, it's very lightweight on your computer, which is really nice. So even on some of these lower end PCs, you don't have to worry about this like overhead of having the software running on your computer, which I really like. Like right now, on my computer, I'm looking with the stuff I'm using, like voice focus, for example, I'm sitting around like 1.5% usage to 2% with not even 200 megabytes of RAM being used. And this 5950X and, still top, still higher end, but still like not so new. And I'm sitting very low, which I love that about our software.
I agree. I think it's really great. I love personally for me, I really like Wavelink a lot. It's been a life-saving grace to me, in my opinion, especially for streaming and it also works with bot tracking too. So I've been using it for that as well, but we can get into more details of that a little bit later. We also have a Google Doc to help you guys set that up too, if you guys are curious about that. That's been available for a while now though, but just something I want to mention. So we will be talking about our favorite features later today. And after we go through all the information that you guys want to know, we're gonna ask you guys which feature you guys like the most. So kind of take notes here. Take notes. But with that being said, let's go ahead and start the overview. Bill, go ahead and take it away.
I think actually we're going to start with James on this one with voice focus, right? Or am I wrong?
Let me pull up.
I believe it was either one. Whoever wants to.
All right, James, why don't you talk a little bit about voice focus and then we'll go from there. Yeah, I think you can also
Yeah, of
demo the
course.
sound. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So voice focus is we partnered with AI Acoustics. So they have a AI Ooh, what do I wanna say here without I know AI is something used commonly, but they bring a different kind of approach to how they handle audio. So what they do with voice sync is they're able to make you sound like you're in a sound treated room. So let's say, for example, you were in a very spacious room where it's very echoey or you have several background noise. The cool part about voice focus is it focuses on the main signal. So with you being the main voice signal coming through, it's going to essentially block out those other sounds around you. So it's going to learn uh, which signal's coming through, and then it's just automatically it's going to block out the other sounds, which is really cool. Like for example, like guess I can demo it real quick. So right now I'm using voice focus. So I'm in a my room is pretty quiet right now. I don't have any background noise, but like let's say for example, I turn on this fan on my phone. So if I go into Wavelink here, and so actually right now it's off. So is the fan coming through?
It's actually not. Maybe there's some other processing going on.
Right now it's off.
Well, while he works on that, so I do want to mention that
PX is
Phil
too
keeps
good.
calling me out every time I'm typing. Cause all right, hear
Yes.
me out, guys. Hear me out. How many
Yes.
people in chat? How many of you guys like keyboard ASMR? Like, it can't just be me, right? Because I love keyboard ASMR. I like hearing the little clicky clacks. Is it just me? But I was typing early today as we were setting everything up for the stream, and Phil's like, "Jasmine, I can hear you typing," and I was like, "Oh." So I turned on voice focus, and then he couldn't hear it anymore. So I'll test it for you guys. Let me turn it off right now for you guys so you guys can hear
Yeah,
it.
please demonstrate this.
I will demonstrate it.
Oh,
All right, so I have voice focus off right now. So let me go and type
oh,
something.
it's blocking.
Typing.
Yeah, we can absolutely hear your keyboard. It also sounds like you're in a room. Like, we can definitely tell you're in a room when you talk.
All right, so I have typed and sent that. So now let me go ahead and turn voice focus back on. And I'm gonna go ahead and type now. So,
Which too,
hey,
one thing
can you hear
I
that?
noticed like your voice sounds closer to the mic as well.
Yeah. Scooby
There you
212 as
go.
opposed to not in a room? No, so what I mean by that is what voice focus does is it addresses a couple things. So James mentioned, essentially noise removal, which is just one part of it. The other part of it is a keyboard, by the way, is noise. Sorry to say that, but it's noise. Uh, you for some of us at least, so it does noise removal, and it does that by trying to separate out the sound that is your voice versus other sounds. Instead of essentially deleting or removing, it kind of figures out, okay, this is because it's an AI model, this is, a human voice, this is a car driving by, this is background like fan noise or something like that. I'm essentially just going to leave that away. So that's noise removal. That's part one. Part two is echo and reverb removal. And so that's the thing when I said, oh, it sounds like Jasmine's in a room. That's the thing where, sound are waves, right? There's sound waves and they bounce around, right? If you talk at a wall, you can't see it obviously, but sound wave goes out, hits the wall and then bounces back and then it hits another wall and then, that creates this kind of space. If you've ever been in, an empty room that's all, like wood construction, then you'll have this echo, right? This reverb, which by the way, they're also kind of two separate things. When we use them both at the same time here. Um, and it addresses that as well, and so that gets rid of this feeling of, "Oh, you're talking, like, to me through a microphone," to, "Oh, you're, like, right in my ears." So I have the same thing as well. I have voice focus on right now. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm using a Wave DX. The difference is probably not gonna be very pronounced because I'm in a pretty decently sound treated room, I've got a Wave DX. Everything's properly set up, so voice focus is actually doing very little for me. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back on again, and you might have not noticed a difference. Okay, Scooby says there is a noticeable one though, right? And so now it sounds like I'm actually, again, I'm like in your, kind of like voice of God type situation, like in your ear. I'm in a studio recording.
It sounds
Um,
like a lot more like, you're actually in the same room as that person instead of
yeah,
just yeah, like you're which I
We have
really
a quick
like. I
question
think
by Smiley Sloth. Sorry. With it being AI powered, is the voice data stored locally or is it being shared?
that's a great question, and I knew that was gonna come up right away. So the voice focus model runs entirely on your computer. It's downloaded with Wavelink, and it is not connected to the internet. Wavelink, of course, like does connect to the internet, but like this model, the data from it, what you know, your voice, none of that ever hits the internet. It is completely everything is on your system. It also doesn't train using your voice, right? So to get that right out of the way first, it doesn't like record your voice and then we use that as training data secretly or anything like that. No, 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 none of that. So this is it runs on your system, everything stays on your system, and that's it.
The
Um,
nice part is too, you just download Wavelink and it's just part of if you have a compatible device, it's just part of that. So you don't have to go download anything extra to use it. It's just a simple toggle on or off.
And so another part of this is so I think I mentioned earlier Wavelink. Voice focus is 3 things. It's noise removal, it's echo and reverb removal, essentially, and then it's also partly an intelligent, EQ. Because what you'll notice is when I turn it off, a part of, when you remove noise and when you remove other things from sound, there's a chance that it actually, it affects the way that you sound, right? This is what normally happens when you use noise removal that's pretty aggressive or that's just not as sophisticated, right? You it sounds a little bit tinny or you can tell that there's something happening. And so voice focus addresses this by essentially analyzing also, okay, this is human speech. It should probably sound a little bit more like this. So it combines that. And so now I've turned it back on again, and you can tell I sound a little bit closer. That's that factor of it's removing echo and reverb, so I sound, closer, and it's also slightly, very slightly, tweaking some EQ there in the background, just to make me sound a little bit better. It's not a lot. It's also not like generating any voice. Like none of this is generating sound. It's simply taking the levels and kind of tweaking them in such a way where it's like, okay, now you sound better to the model. So this is some really cool stuff. It's really sophisticated. In fact, I'm gonna do a quick screen share here, Jasmine, and to show you guys what this actually looks like in Wavelink. Let me zoom in here a little bit more. Hopefully this is coming through nice
I
and
think I
clear.
also while you're also I think well, I don't we'll have to try it out, but I have, the fan now on a Bluetooth speaker, which we can always try later to the demo.
Oh, perfect. Okay. We'll do that in just a second here. So voice focus obviously has an on-off toggle, and you'll find it right within Wavelink, right on your Wave microphone. So I'm using an XLR dock. If you have a Wave 1, a Wave 3, a Wave Neo, it'll show up right here, and or a Wave XLR as well. And, then, yeah, you can just turn it on. It also has a strength slider here, and this strength slider is also unique because, again, this is an intelligent model. So this thing isn't just going, "Okay, if you have no background noise, I'm going to process the heck out of your sound." Well, there's no point, right? There's no need to. You already sound good. This model recognizes that and goes, "Okay, you sound good." So even though it's set to maximum strength, it's not gonna do a lot. What's cool is it acts more like an upper essentially like a threshold or like an upper limiter. So I could also set this to, again, because I'm using a Wave DX, I'm in a pretty well sound treated room. And because there's not a lot of background noise, I could set this maybe to like half strength because I don't want it to, ever do anything more than that. And so it'll use this as essentially the upper limit. So it knows, okay, I can process the sound to about like 50% here. Or I can just say, if you need to, go all the way, go 100%, and do all the processing you need. So it's different than other solutions where if you set it to 100%, it's going to process your mic audio at 100% of that, noise removal strength, even if there is no noise. And so then you'll get that effect of like, it's like, hey, I have no background noise, but I still sound kind of compressed, kind of tinny. I sound like I'm almost like calling over a phone or something like that. Why is that? Well, again, it's because those will affect your sound no matter what. Voice focus being an AI model figures out that you already sound good. And then it's like, okay, I'm just not going to process your voice as much. In fact, speaking of processing, James, if you have it set up now, do you want to show, what the effect is and just how well it works?
Yeah, so let's see if it actually will come through. WaveGX is blocking stuff that, but I also, of course, Windows has some other stuff. But okay, so this is it coming through? Oh
It
Oh
God.
is,
yeah.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So now we'll turn on voice focus and I'll turn it on maximum. And this is just, of course, let me turn it up even. Yeah. So this is with the on my Bluetooth speaker still with the fan going. And then, of course, let me turn it back off here. So this is with the voice focus off. And so this is what it sounds like with just a Bluetooth speaker playing some fan noise. And then of course, if I turn it back on, as you can see the difference with just me simply just one toggle, it's 9-day difference. So it's right now too, I actually have like background noise where I'm living my situation and just even a neighbor right now blaring music and it's not even coming through, which is really helpful.
And
Sweet.
so there's we believe again, there's a lot of other solutions out there that do, similar things, right? In fact, right, Discord has a built-in, Zoom Teams, games. Everyone's got some sort of processing built in, mostly just to remove background noise. But voice focus, again, it does a little bit more than that. And it's why we call it voice focus, because really what this is doing is it's taking your voice and focusing on that and making sure that you are front and center. And it's not just doing noise removal. So it's not just called, like voice noise removal or something like that. That's why we call it voice focus. What's also cool is this will get better over time. So as the model does train more and does get better, we'll add that into Wavelink, and then in certain updates, we might not tell you necessarily. We might not mention it, but over time, this thing, because it's something that can be trained, can get better. Um,
So, we do have a
yes,
lot of questions.
A
So
lot
when
of
you're
I
ready,
imagine
questions.
there
we
are.
have a ton that we can go and go through real quick. So first question from J and Tracks. What is the latency of voice focus?
It is. I mean, I've got it on right now. Of course, we're going through a bunch of things. I mean, geez,
Yeah,
my video's going from the camera to, Camera Hub to
virtual.
OBS, then over the internet to Jasmine alongside my voice, so there's a lot going on, but it's basically undetectable,
Yeah.
is I think what the answer will be to that. It's undetectable latency.
Next
It's also
question.
very
Oh,
lightweight.
mhm. Next question from Ludo FPO. Can we select if it uses CPU or GPU processing power?
You cannot, it always uses your CPU, but let me show you here. So we did some testing, of course, as we were building this out. Excuse me. And, the CPU usage is incredibly light. Check this out, right?
It's
So
really insane, actually.
I've got voice focus on here. I'm gonna set it to max strength, and, this is Wavelink here. Hopefully you can see that. Here's the Wavelink. This is the CPU usage of Wavelink, 2.6%. My overall CPU usage is quite high because I'm doing a lot right now. If you're wondering what I have in my system, it's a 5800 X3D. So it's not the latest and greatest, but it's certainly no slouch either. But you can see voice focus takes nearly nothing. In fact, if I turn it off, then you'll have a nice baseline comparison there. All right, so I turn it off, and the CPU usage of Wavelength goes down to 0.2%. So it's a big increase, right? It's like 0.2% all the way to 2.6%. But on terms of overall usage, it's next to nothing. I ran this on a laptop with a 6-core CPU from Intel, and I limited it to 2 gigahertz. So essentially, something where the laptop, there's no fan speed or anything like, there's no fan noise, anything like that. And it used, I think, it was 4%. So the thing is incredibly efficient, and that's what's really cool is again, there's a lot of other solutions out there. Some of them are a little bit more well known, like NVIDIA Broadcast, which NVIDIA Broadcast requires an RTX GPU. In fact, if you want to use their latest version, the Studio Voice, then I believe you even need an RTX 5080, or at least they recommend an RTX 5080. And even then, it'll impact your game frame rates because it uses that much of the GPU power. This, in my opinion, sounds better and uses like an order of magnitude less processing power. So it's really, really incredible technology.
And the cool part that you're showing is that was on max, so that's on the slider on max settings, so even when you drop it down, it'll be, using less than what you were
Hmm.
showing. So at max usage or, using, like, 2% usage, like 2.5 at max or something like that, which is really impressive. And then, yeah, what I saw too just from my testing, it uses slight, memory. Actually, I don't think it uses any memory, it's just strictly CPU, correct? Yeah, yeah, I think it's just strictly CPU.
It doesn't add any memory usage, no.
Yeah, okay, it's just strictly CPU.
I think I was at like what 70 megabytes. So yeah, also you don't have to worry. I mean, again, it's incredible technology, right? Usually when you hear about AI, you think, oh, I need a massive GPU, I need, lots of RAM and all this. And no, this just installs with Wavelength and it just kind of works. Um, So yeah, this is incredible, and it works on Windows and Mac and on any CPU out there. I mean, anything that you guys watching, I am very confident in saying that it will run on your system, and you will not notice it, to add to that.
All right, sweet. Next question is from Yarito. If we use something like voice mod, can we set up all of these new features in that preset?
If you use voice mod, yes. Essentially what you do is you would have the Wavelink audio going into voice mod, and then, voice mod doing its thing, and then sending out the voice mod sound from there. So
You'll
you kind
want
of
to
have to
make sure.
think about the audio chain, right? Okay, so it's your mic goes into Wavelink, gets processed by voice focus, then goes into voice mod. It adds effects or whatever you want on there, and then it goes out to say OBS or Discord or something like that.
And if you're only wanting, like, for example, just the your voice and the different kind of audio effects, you just want to select Wavelength Microphone FX as like your input in voice mod. So that way it's only your voice with the effects and you don't have to worry about your other audio coming from your other kind of inputs.
Next
Yep.
question is from Sir Hader. They're asking if they'll lose all their configurations if they were to update to 2.0.
Nope. Your configuration is saved, and yeah, you can safely update. So yeah, no issues there.
Next question is from Scooby. So does voice focus basically replace any external plugins we had to use previously?
Not necessarily. Or
It's
go ahead, James. Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, let's say not necessarily, but it sort of can. Like it's very powerful. What Phil was saying, it has like multiple different layers of what it does. Now, of course, you can fine tune it and add additional voice different kind of audio effects to get it to what you like. It's very subjective, but no, it doesn't have to. But it's a very good baseline too at the same time where you don't have to add a lot to it if you don't want to.
So
How
I'm
I see
actually
it.
just gonna go ahead here and doing a screen share. I just removed the only thing I've on is voice effects, voice focus. Um, In my day-to-day setup, I don't use basically other effects anymore, at least ones that essentially enhance or improve my sound. I feel like I don't really need it, at least in this setup. Yeah, I could go ahead and maybe add an EQ, if I want a little bit more of that podcast, sound, I could go in here and I think maybe I've got like a podcast preset that I can use here. So, maybe that changes it a little bit and adds a little bit more low end. Uh, but outside of that, I mean, again, I'll turn this off. You can hear it's already doing a great job. So I think for most of you watching, you just turn this on. So, or let's put it this way. Here's my recommendation. When you install Wavelink 2.0, turn on voice focus, set it to max strength, and just leave it. Done. It's that simple. It's it's really that simple, and then you don't have to really touch it again. You could add an EQ if, again, you wanna pull a little bit more, say, low end or high end or something like that out of your voice, or maybe add a compressor if you get really loud a lot, something like that, but that's it. Just turn on voice focus, set it to the max strength. You can play around with that, um, or you could check it using sound check, which I think we'll get to in a little bit as well. But yeah, it's so simple.
So we actually have a ton of questions about voice focus right now. So Miami is asking, can you stack NVIDIA noise suppressor with this new voice focus?
Yes. I mean, it's you can definitely stack it different multiple audio effects on top of it if you like, which is really cool. So you can use it directly into the cool part of being a partnership with NVIDIA. You can use our the video broadcast noise within Wavelength directly.
You probably don't need it though. Voice
Yeah.
focus does that and a little bit more even. So you don't need NVIDIA noise removal if you're using voice focus. I did see a question earlier, and I think it's just good to address um, the effect chain, right? Some people were asking like how, what's first, what's second, that sort of thing. So within Wavelink, all the audio effects are always processed from top to bottom. So that means the ones that are at the top come first, and then the second one, the third one. Now before voice focus, you would have, maybe an EQ, then a compressor, noise removal, etc., in a row here. Now on your mic, voice focus is always going to be first. again, you can obviously turn it off if you don't want to use it and you want to, maybe use a different noise removal effect, or if you just want a noise gate, something like that, totally up to you. But if you are using voice focus, this will get processed first. So it'll do the background removal, it'll do the background noise removal, it'll do the echo removal, it'll do that, like I said, kind of intelligent EQing. And then you can start adding things like maybe you want to add a compressor on there, right? And you just want to compress your already, you'll sound really good already. But now you could add a compressor, or maybe you want to add another EQ on there. But yeah, voice focus always comes first when it's on, and then after that, you'll have your other effects in order again from top to bottom. So in this case here, in this example, it would be voice focus, then Elgato EQ, and then Elgato compressor after that.
Someone asked too regarding, and I just want to answer this real quick. Mana asked, did anyone ask how updating works if I'm on the beta? So if you're on the beta now, you can simply download it from elgato.com, um, from the download section, or just go to the Wavelink new or the Wavelink section and download it, and it'll keep your configurations and settings down. So it'll just simply update to the latest. So just like a slight revision. But yeah, you will all your settings and everything will transfer over. That's how you can update if you're on the beta.
Thank you for that, James. So, next question, they're asking why, if voice focus runs locally on PC, is it not available with third-party USB mic plus Stream Deck Plus?
That is a good question. It is something that, we may or could end up doing in the future. For now, this is something that we wanted to offer to our Wave mic users. And again, I'm not saying we won't ever or, exclude anything there. But yes, you are in fact correct that yeah, you could in theory, add this to Stream Deck Plus. In fact, you could even, in theory, add this to additional other inputs or something like that. Um, this is just how we've decided to roll it out today, and then, we'll see what happens in the future.
Next
Yeah.
question from Sicarius. So, if I want to separate things out with multi track audio and OBS, anyways, for post, I could use the Stream Mix additional output to a line out to handle routing mic and effects to a gaming PC in a dual setup, right?
Yes. Yeah, you could definitely, yeah. You're throwing me off. I was thinking about voice focus all
Wait,
this time, and then you hit me with the dual PC question out of nowhere.
but was it individual tracks or all?
I'll
It does
post.
combine, right? The stream
It'll
mix,
be
I mean, yeah.
combined. Yeah.
The stream mix is one mix that has, everything in it, right? It's got your mic in it. It'll have whatever channels you've added. It'll have all the levels and effects. There's the monitor mix. That's the one you hear. And then there's also the mic effects mix, which is the one that, well, only has the mic, only has the audio effects in the mic. And then it also has Stream Deck sound effects in there if you want them.
Sweet. And then it's J Archie asks, can we compare the CPU usage to the other options like the Elgato EQ?
Well, why don't we compare it to something like Elgato noise removal, in
I
terms
think that'll
of
be,
comparing the same
yeah.
Mm.
technology. Oh, that's the wrong one.
I feel like noise suppressions are usually the ones that are most resource heavy.
All right, so let's take a look here. So I've got Elgato noise removal, and that runs within Wavelink. I'm going to open Task Manager here. And okay, we can see that Wavelink is using about, now it's a little bit more, it kind of bounces up and down. But all right, let's say 0.6%. It's a little bit small. We turn that off. It'll jump down to, yeah, okay. It stays, yeah, a little bit lower here, 0.3. And then again, I'll turn on voice focus and it jumps to about, 3%. Um, memory stays pretty much the same, as in turning it on and off. It makes no impact in terms of like loading the model or anything like that, which is pretty cool. So again, I wouldn't worry too much about the performance. That's the really nice thing is voice focus is the type of feature that ideally, you set and forget. You turn it on, set it to, a strength that works well for you. Again, you can also pretty safely set it to max strength there because again, it's an intelligent model. It'll figure out if it needs more processing or not. And then you just forget it. Then you just forget that it's even on and everyone's like, wow, your microphone sounds really good. How'd you do that? And well, all you did was turn on voice focus.
Sweet. And then JN Tracks asks, do you know how many samples of latency voice focus creates?
Uh I believe I saw something around we use 512 samples, so it's pretty low latency.
And I think right now too,
Yeah.
we're all using it. So that's what the interesting part is. Right now, we're all using it, so you can sort of see a first-hand basis, of course, how it's impacting us and our voices and the latency on that. Which yeah, like every time Phil's watching, I'm like trying to see if I can see it mess up, but for life of me, I cannot like see a noticeable, even with all of our different routing we're doing.
Next question is from Archie Robbie. What should I drop from my chain? Noise gate, EQ, compressor, dser to have voice focus on instead.
Uh, yeah,
Well,
James, you wanna take it?
I was gonna say, I sort of was gonna go into sound check, but I don't know.
Oh, we could go.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great segue to our sponsor.
Yeah, so that's what's cool about with this version of Wavelink as well, because it's gonna be very subjective of what people what you think is gonna sound good, of course. And it's really hard. It's like of course, if you're using like a program like Audacity, there's ways that you can check your quality right there. But with Wavelink 2.0, we've introduced a really cool way for you can actually test out different kind of audio effects and see how it applies to your voice. So let me actually I can screen share this time around. So let me get this set up.
And like this up, I just want to mention briefly that we will be answering as many of your questions as possible throughout all this. It's just we do have a lot of segments to go into. So for now, we're gonna go ahead and go into this next segment here that James is gonna be showing off. And don't worry about your questions. We will try to get to it by the end of the stream. So stay tuned.
So for of course you're asking like, what should I turn off? Should I remove it? So the cool part about with Wavelength 2.0, like I was saying, is you have this new option called sound check. So with sound check, you could record up to 10 seconds of a soundtrack and have it loop back. So for example, let me record, hey, this is just a test recording to see how my mic sounds on using voice focus, and I want to see the different kind of quality. So as you see board, hey, this is just a test recording to see how my mic sounds on using voice focus, and I want to see the different kind of quality. Chord, hey, so that sounds great and all, but like, okay, cool. I sound like, okay, what if I like hate the quality, or I'm like, okay, you know what? I really want to see what it sounds like with this particular noise gate, right? So I can actually turn a noise gate. The cool part about this now, it'll actually apply to the recording. So this is just a test recording to see how my mic sounds on using voice focus, and I want to see the different kind of quality. Chord, hey, this is just, and the recording of itself will in real time play back with these different kind of audio effects. So like say you have an equalizer you want to see, or a different kind of noise suppression, or of course a noise gate. You can in real time turn them off or on or adjust the settings to see what it sounds like and to see if you actually like it or not. So that's one thing it, you will want to just test yourself to see if you want to remove or of course maybe just tweak a little bit what you need to see. So I definitely recommend trying out sound check to see what sounds good for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything
sound
else?
check is perfect together with voice focus because you can keep it off, record a quick, 10-second loop, and then turn voice focus on, and just you can hear yourself right over and over and over the same clip, and then just do basically A/B testing. Oh, do I need more? Do I need less? Do I want the EQ on off? Yes, no. It'll also save that single recording. So if let's say like record yourself once and then 2 weeks later come back to it, should still be there. So you can then still use that same audio clip and, see how you compare maybe with a different audio effect at that point. Um, that we heard. Uh,
Yep.
so yeah, cat
The cat's
reveal.
knocking stuff off my desk.
Aw,
It
they
is
want a
we
cat
are
reveal.
Elgato after all. But yeah, so that's sound check. And again, it's perfect for just checking, do your audio effects sound good? How does voice focus sound? And then also just how do what's your voice like? Is there a lot coming through, or do you want to, add a compressor? Is it quite loud, or too quiet? That sort of thing.
Archie Robbie is
Actually,
asking, so the clip is recorded raw and the VSTs get applied after, or do I need to re-record after changing something for testing?
No, so that's the
You don't
really
need it.
cool thing is it does it in real time. So it actually will
Yep.
play, and as it's playing, you can toggle the effects on and off. So you don't have to re-record, you don't have to like, render anything out, save anything. Nope, you just record a quick 10 seconds, hit play, and then it'll just loop itself over and over and over again, and you can toggle effects on and off. You can change the settings in real time if you want to add new ones. Yeah. Makes it super easy.
I actually had voice focus turned off from it. I forgot to turn it back on, so that's probably why also that came through.
Yeah, the
Uh,
recording is raw, yes. As in it picks just the mic and, whatever gain you currently have applied to it, it doesn't actually, if let's say you have an effect on, like voice focus, it doesn't actually record that. It records from the mic directly. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. I think we
Oh, it's
could.
interesting. I didn't know that when I was talking, when I played a sample recording, I guess
Mhm.
it stops my mic from working.
Oh,
Yes, because it has to record the raw audio from the mic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it stops the output for while you're recording it. So normally you would do this, before the stream or before, whatever content you're making. So then you wouldn't be affected by it. But yeah, it does temporarily pause the mic output just in well, I guess in your mixes in the stream mix, mic effects mix, and the monitor mix.
it's good to
Yeah,
know.
that's just one like Phil was saying, it's one great way to do a sound check before you go live, and that's one thing I actually really enjoy, especially when, Phil and I work events often, and so one thing is we are always in different kind of environments. So now with this, we can real quick with Wavelength just do a sound check and say, "Alright, cool, we can actually hear this AC over here, or we can hear a lot of the venue," and stuff like that, and try to make tweaks if possible. The cool part is too with that recording, it's a constant kind of sound, and we can fine tune it and adjust it as needed, which it's gonna make people like me who love custom configurating and the tedious part of just re-recording stuff over with.
Agreed. Great way to double check your audio as well before you start your stream, guys. Streamers, you know what I mean? I think we go and move on to the next segment now. So, would you guys want to do simplified audio routing or app grouping? Maybe we can have chat
Yeah.
choose.
I think well, I think we'll do simplified audio routing just because this has been a major thing within Wavelength since well, really kind of since day one. Um, so let me jump over here. This is Wavelength today. This is Wavelength 2.0. If you look at previous screenshots, or if you have Wavelength 1.0 installed, then you will be missing this little area up here, right? Usually you just have the faders there. And with Wavelength 2.0, we added essentially simplified audio routing or one-click audio routing. And what is this? Well, in the past, what you had to do is you had to go, let's say you launched an app or like a game, you had to essentially go into your Windows settings, and you can't really see it, but I'm just going to pull them up here. You had to go into your Windows settings, and then I mean, Wavelength made it a little bit easier because it took you right there, but you go in here, you find your app, right? Oh, I even went to the wrong menu. You find your app. uh,
Back one more. Yeah, you almost
this
got it.
one, volume mixer, there you go, right? Then here you have your applications, and then here you can select, right, what channel it plays through. That is quite annoying. We found it annoying. We know you guys found it annoying, and so we thought, okay, we could probably do something about this. And so in Wavelength 2.0, all you have to do to route audio is simply select the app that you want to route. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Spotify here, just as an example, of course. And don't worry, the music won't play through to you guys. It'll just play through to me. Uh, and I'm gonna hit play here. Oh, I guess I already have it routed to music. But essentially now all you do is you select the app right within Wavelink. So if I want to actually route it to the browser channel, I can just select it there and done. That's it. It's that simple. If I want Spotify going to system, I can just select it right there. So
And
that's
of
how
course,
simple it
like
is with any game. If I launch a new game, sorry, James, let me launch a game here. Um, if I launch a new game, especially with games, it's a hassle when either they update or they, you're playing a game for the first time, you're downloading a bunch, then it could be kind of annoying. Let's see. Oh boy, Steam is pulling up a bunch of stuff. So you have the game channel here. My game channel is empty, right? I've got nothing in there right now. So Hades is launching here in the background. And the moment it pops up, there we go, Hades. And now if I select that, sound from the game, you can see there, yep, it popped up. It'll start coming through. Now, Hades actually, when you tab out of the game, it stops the sound, but you can see there we go. There's the sound. So it's that simple. If I want to route it somewhere else or I want to not route it to the game channel, I simply unselect it and that's it. And it'll show you all the apps that you have running. Um, It'll show you all the apps that have played music or have played a sound. So if let's say I open Chrome for the first time and Chrome hasn't played any sound yet, then it won't show up here. You would have to hop into like a quick YouTube video or something. But once you route it once, then you're set. What's also cool is you'll notice here in the voice chat, I have a bunch of different applications routed. And so that's kind of the second part of this, which is the app grouping. But obviously, I have a bunch of games installed. I can route them all to the game channel, or I can route, voice chat. I've got Discord, Slack, Zoom, Teams. I've got those all routed to the same channel here. So you can route, I think it's almost like an unlimited amount of apps into the same channel. So that way it's really nice for organizing. For music, yeah, if I want to pull up Apple Music here, which it totally supports as well, then, I can just pull it up here and, select Apple Music. There we go. I could move Spotify over to it. There we go. Now both my music apps play through, the music channel. I could have Chrome going into the browser channel there. So yeah, this just makes it incredibly easy. Um, some applications you'll notice have a little exclamation point or like a little yellow dot. Some apps don't like this routing. And so they either require restart or usually it's with chat apps, you may have to actually go into the settings themselves there and change the output. So, in the case of Slack here or Teams, we added this little warning. This is something that we can update in the background. So let's say, there's an app update or something like that, then you can configure that um, and we'll let you know.
The
We do
one
have
thing
a
too,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, James, go ahead.
I was gonna say the nice part is too, especially for Mac OS users, you will actually see this exact same thing now. So prior, of course, you would just see the apps only, and you would just list the apps. But now with this as well, with Wavelink 2.0, you have all these different kind of inputs, and you can route multiple apps to these with the same kind of routing as Phil is showing here.
Yeah. So I mean that's as simple as it is. It's now just one click audio routing for your well, for any application really. Um
Sweet. We
There's
do
a little
have
bit, yeah.
Oh, sorry. If you had more to say, you
No,
could
no, I
finish
think
up.
that, we can take some questions now. I'm sure there are some.
We do have a lot of questions.
Okay.
So, first question is from Cheese. Do I need to use Ear Trumpet because I use it for 1.0?
No, so this actually essentially that functionality that you have with Ear Trumpet, this is sort of what that is. So you can get rid of Ear Trumpet and you can just use this. Yeah, so if you've been using Ear Trumpet or any other solution to kind of force sound to play through something, then you can do that right in Wavelength. You don't need to use that anymore.
Awesome. Next question is from a game Hubler. We already answered this a little bit, but just to answer again for everyone who's just tuning in, does this have a limitation on how many apps you can add to a source?
No.
No.
So for games, I could add as many games as I want to. It'll just show a little number here, it'll show you also the recent apps, but yeah, it'll just show you a little number. So, I could add 10, 20, 30 games here. It'll show you a couple of them and then it just shows a number. If you click on it, you'll see all the apps that have been routed to that particular channel.
See, and then T Smooth is asking, is YouTube Music app compatible with this as well?
It should be. I don't use YouTube Music myself, but essentially, if it's an app that you install on your computer or a game or anything like that, then it will show up here and then you can route it. Yeah.
See, and then Sicarius asks, if
I
an app, oh, sorry, go ahead, James.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Sicarius asks, if an app has options for sending audio to separate devices, like Atom or sound alerts on a Stream Deck, will it respect that secondary assignment and only grab the audio from the app set to default output?
That
Yes.
is a good question. Yeah, go ahead.
I believe so, and I say yes, and I sort of say that with, like, in some apps, it may vary, but that's also the reason, like, some of these apps that Phil was showing, like, they have settings built into the app itself, and you have to set it to there. So, usually what happens is it'll automatically reroute it, if you change that setting inside the app for the most part, but it can vary.
And then custom asks, can you have more than two outputs?
So Wavelink has essentially three outputs. There's the monitor mix, which is what you hear, and that's what I'm hearing right now. There's the stream mix. That's what I would add into, say, like OBS or Meld or Streamlabs desktop, whatever I'm using. And then there's one more mix, which is microphone effects. And now microphone effects is the one that we recommend you use in. Let's see here. Uh, in apps like Discord, for example, because mic effects is the one there we go. This is the one that only has your microphone and audio effects that are added to it, as well as an optional sound effects channel. The thing is, if you select Wavelink Stream as your mic in Discord, well, all your friends are gonna hear all your audio, right? They're gonna hear the same sound that you hear. So that would be if you're listening to music, up the music is to go through. If you play a game, they're gonna hear the game because that's the stream mix. So just make sure that you select the microphone effects mix, but that's what you get. So you get 3 mixes essentially. Stream mix, microphone effects mix, and the monitor mix.
Awesome. And then next question is from OneUp. Does that work the same way as Windows Advanced Audio, but just better?
Windows Advanced Audio. Is that menu that I was in earlier?
What was the question again?
Trying to think.
Does that work the same way as Windows Advanced Audio, but just better?
Oh, yeah, it's essentially yeah, Phil. I'm assuming it's the same thing. I don't does it actually change it in Windows Volume Mixer?
It
So
does,
if you go
mhm.
to your
Yeah, if I go to, like, Spotify, it says music. If I go to Slack, you can see here it says voice chat, so it changes it here for you.
okay, actually that's right. Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah, it's just
mhm.
essentially making it a way easier way to it's getting rid of that way clunkish way of having to go to Windows Volume Mixer yourself and adjusting that, which a lot of people too is very confusing. If you've never been in Windows Volume Mixer before, it's very confusing to be in there.
Well, the nice thing is you don't even have to go there anymore now. That's the best
Exactly,
part.
that's what I'm saying with
Mm,
this, it's like it gets rid of that clunkish way of doing that.
yeah. So yeah, that's like one-click routing or simplified app routing, and then also app grouping. And the great part is too that Mac has had this kind of functionality for a while because Mac OS just kind of worked that way. Um, Now it's on Windows and also on Mac and Windows, it works the same way. So if you do use a Mac, where if you jump between them, or let's say you work events and one day you're on a Windows machine, the next day you're on a Mac machine, the UI here is going to be identical between the two.
Sweet. And then question from Cool Guy 83. Can you change the volume of each app though?
So when you add an app into a channel, let's take here my voice chat channel, right? I'm going to link these two. This changes all the audio for every app that's coming in here, right? This is where I choose how I mix my sound. So if I want, the voice chat to be a little bit lower than for the stream than for myself, because I want to be able to hear my friends more clearly, then now it's done this for Slack, for Zoom, for Discord, etc. You still have the option of changing the app volume manually, like the actual app itself. That's if you, for example, go either into the Discord settings or if you go into the window settings, you can still do that there, right?
Volume
But
Mixer,
it's
yeah.
yeah, in the volume mixer, I think you can also just right click, but um, these channel controls here control all the inputs that go into one channel.
The nice part though, if you are like Phil was saying, if you're trying, because this is what I do personally, like let's say you want to just control it all via wavelength, there's like aux 1 and aux 2 as well as available as inputs that you can add and you can rename channels as well. So if you're using some kind of different, like say you have a game that you want to adjust and you're having a different kind of game you're playing or something, and you want to adjust the volume between the two and not have it at the same level, I would recommend routing it, and that's part with the one-click audio routing is super simple just to switch it to a different kind of channel. So I will set it like aux 1, have it on one dial, and I can adjust it on that one dial, and then have a second kind of dial that adjusts whatever different kind of game.
Next question from MDW Games. Since Discord also requires devices to be set in the app, will this app method still work?
It depends, not necessarily, which is, I mean, it should, but I mean, it's simple enough in Discord to just go there and set the output. Where you select your mic input, you can also just set the output there. It should work, and it seems to since we don't have a little warning label next to it. But I know that Discord can also sometimes do its own thing. So yeah.
Next question is from Trezzy. Are we able to route the sound from capture card, example HD60, to the game channel?
Not to the game channel. So when you add a device into Wavelink, it actually takes up one of so you essentially with Wavelink, you get 8 inputs and 1 input is your mic. So you have 9 total. 1 input is your mic, 8 of them are going to be other inputs. So if I switch back here, I've got my mic here on the left side, and then I've got all these other channels. Now, these are all virtual channels. If I want to add a physical channel, I can go in here. You'll see there's a drop down, and what happens is basically you choose, do you want a virtual channel or do you want a physical one? So if I choose my capture card here, the 4K60 Pro, I select this. Uh, Now that's been added, and now I'm also using. This looks so ridiculous, but I'm using all the channels available. So, yeah, it just if you wanted to add a second capture card or another mic, it would use up one of these virtual channels. So you can choose essentially between, do you want 8 virtual channels? Do you want 7 virtual channels and 1, additional, like, hardware input, like a capture card? Do you want 2 hardware inputs, like 2 additional mics plus your main mic, so that's 3, and then you want 5, virtual channels? You can kinda mix and match how you want that.
Sweet. Next question is from Shiwari Suise. Can you route individual tabs within the same browser to different channels?
No. So I believe, at least with Chrome, the way that it behaves is you have one browser, right? Chrome just plays audio. I know there's actually plugins in Chrome that you can get for, like, if you want one tab playing out through one output and one tab playing through another. I believe there's plugins that allow you to do that, but those you have to install in Chrome. A sneaky little workaround that I personally use, especially when I'm live streaming, if I want to do, say, alerts via like an alerts channel, but I don't want it to use my main browser, is I just use a second browser. I think we all have Microsoft Edge installed, at least on Windows, kind of not by choice. So if you have Chrome as kind of, let's say, your main browser, then you could add Edge to your notification channel, and then that's how you can control that there separately.
All right, let's see. Nick Arcade from YouTube is asking, do I need AI acoustics and Elgato noise removal both enabled?
James?
No, you don't necessarily need to. I would definitely try out sound check though, and see if the background noise is actually coming through. So just simply turn on voice focus, do a test recording through Wavelink, and then of course if you don't hear the background noise, then you're good to go. If you feel like you need to, I mean, and of course just adjust. I would definitely first adjust the slider, like Phil was saying, set it to the maximum and see if that noise is still coming through. If it is, then of course then you can do some kind of messing around and turn on a noise removal and to see if it makes a difference.
Sweet. Wesley from YouTube's asking, will this update to Elgato reset all of my audio cable assignments in OBS and Streamer Bot? I'm still going to upgrade, but I want to get ready for some work if this is the case.
I believe so, yes. If you're coming from Wavelink 1 to Wavelink 2, and you have, say, the stream mix added in OBS, you probably need to reselect it, or I would definitely recommend double checking it. Let's put it that way. Best practice, right? Whenever you perform an update, especially to something kind of as low level as, say, your audio system, which in this case would be Wavelink, definitely double check before you go live.
Yeah, some softwares are just sometimes can be a little bit finicky when you're adding or removing. So when a device gets like removed, it's sometimes can just remove it completely until you go and change it yourself. So yeah, definitely double check just to be safe.
Sweet. With that being said, I think we're caught up on all the questions about this segment. So let's go ahead and move on to the next segment for you guys.
There's more to talk about? I
Oh,
thought that was it for this update.
oh man, there's so much to talk about, and we're already an hour and 6 minutes into the stream.
All right, James, you wanna take this next one? What do we
App
have?
grouping.
App grouping.
I think we
I
sort
think
of cover. I mean, we could
Yep,
show it again, of course, real quick, but we
I think we
Phil's
covered that
especially
already.
Oh, we did actually.
yeah. So and I can just demo it real quick, of course, but yeah, that'll be very fast, of course, because Phil already covered it, as you guys probably would have saw. So right here, let me move my wavelength right here. So like Phil was showing you guys earlier, real quick. So we have app grouping, which makes it very easy to tell what apps are currently grouped. So for example, all my different games I have here, I have just showing me the last couple of games, and then it says 12 inactive. So just makes it very easy to tell where things are located, and even applications that have been routed previously, you can see where they're currently located at as well, which is really helpful too. So sometimes you're like, hey, where's this app at? I don't see it. And then you see it's already been routed. So I've done that before where I've routed a game. I try to route it to like my sound board channel, and I see, "Oh, it's because it's already been routed," as you see right here. So, one thing I actually realized I'd like to, I just realized, well, I not really realized, but I wanna call out is if the application is not active too, you'll see it's not like a big mess. So even though it's been routed before, you're not gonna see a list of all of your apps that have been routed. Because as you see, I had 12 already routed in game, so just having 12 here ready, just to try to add one would be a bit of annoying. So, but that's app grouping.
All right, what's next?
Hardware microphone mute.
I think that's pretty
Oh,
simple.
I actually, I actually will talk about this a little. I can talk about this. So, one nice part about this, and I actually ran into this. So previously, if you had, say, for example, a a Wave XLR dock, or sorry, not XLR dock. If you had the XLR dock for Stream Deck Plus, so what would happen is I had to have my cat on my desk. So what would happen in some cases, the way you would mute your mic was using a key via your Stream Deck. Well, let's say, for example, you didn't have the Stream Deck app open or something like that. Of course, with our other microphones like the Wave 3 and the Wave XLR, there's a physical mute button. So now with the software you actually have, it's going to make me go mute. Of course, there's a mute option in the software. So just simply, as you can see, it can mute my mic in the software. So just a very nice quality of life update, which was introduced. So especially for those who are using the XLR dock for Stream Deck Plus, it's a very handy tool if you don't want to have like the Stream Deck software open, which of course, I mean, if you're going to be using Stream Deck Plus, you likely will. But let's say, of course, like for example, you're doing something and it's turned off at the moment, you can mute real quick. I've been in a panic where my computer's locked up essentially, and everything's crashing, and I'm just trying to, like, just mute my mic without some kinda crazy noise coming through the mic, like like a computer freak out noise, and then I can simply now mute it, which is very helpful.
Yeah, it boils down to there used to not be a dedicated mic mute button, now there is. This is a little bit different though than muting a channel, right? So maybe you can touch on that, James. Like, what's the difference between like mute? Okay, I mute my mic or I mute a channel.
Yes, exactly. So this is just simply on the physical side of things, just muting it. So it's not, it won't. So, like, let's say you want to mute your mic, but you want to hear stuff, or you want your other stuff to go through your stream. For example, like say you want your voice chat or your game to still go through your stream, that will still be not affected whatsoever, which is very helpful. So it's just simply just muting the physical mic itself and not causing it to go through other kind of input. So it'll mute it on, for example, like the Wavelink stream, Wavelink microphone FX. It'll just block it on those. Or of course, if you're just using the mic as a direct input, it'll mute that directly. So, but it does not affect the any other audio channels. Nor does it affect, like, say, yeah, your voice chat in your monitor mix or your voice chat in your stream mix. That's not affected whatsoever.
Yeah, one way to think about it is it's the same as if you have a Wave 1, a Wave 3, or a Wave XLR, there's the fit capacitive mute button. Clicking that in Wavelink, it's the same as you tapping that capacitive mute button. It has the same effect, the LEDs will turn red, it engages the hardware mute, so yeah, you can do that via Wavelink now, which is great.
Woo! Next question from OneUp. Is that muting microphone FX too?
It isn't muting the
Yes and
mix,
no.
right? Like, it
Eh,
just mutes the
eh,
mic. Yeah.
Yes. Let's say you have sound effects still going through, like, say you have your S like, you have this route to microphone effects, of course, all these stuff is gonna go through, but yes, it's not gonna physically mute the microphone FX channel. It's just only gonna mute your mic, so yeah, your voice won't come through.
Um, Sume Blue is asking, how would this work with Still Series? Would they mash?
If you're
Uh,
using it with the XOR dock, you'll be able to use this but depending on the HyperX headset, like, say it's like a USB headset, USB microphone, right? Then no, it will not work.
And then Pufferson's asking, is there a reason why the inputs are lined up to scroll right instead in a grid for better overview? Is what I meant. If, what I believe they meant to say.
I mean, we could have them scroll left, we could have them scroll kinda diagonally. We just decided it like that. No, but on a serious note, we are looking at a redesign of Wavelink. Definitely when we
Leak.
you saw earlier that, when I have 9 channels added, that also there's some weird squeaking noise right there. There was some, when I had 9 channels added, it becomes a little long, like, literally, it becomes long and wide, and you need almost like an ultra wide monitor. That's not great if you wanna add, say, all 9 channels or, potentially in the future, you wanna add even more channels. I mean, who knows, right? So, yeah, definitely something that we're looking at.
Who knows? Yeah. Hmm.
We wouldn't.
Who knows?
Who knows? So we are currently up to date on all the questions now about that segment. So next up, we have input panel renaming.
Alright, let me tackle this one real quick. So, because I wanna get to some Stream Deck stuff. We've talked a lot about Wavelink, but I wanna make sure that we also cover Stream Deck. Input channel renaming. Folks, when you rename a channel in Wavelink 1.0, all it would do is it would rename it in Wavelink, but not in Windows. So, I have browser here, but you know what? I'm gonna, call this Chrome. The cool thing is now if I go into my actual sound settings here in Windows, and essentially this is if you wanna, then add that into OBS or, something like that, it will change it. Where is it here? You see, there it is. It might be a little small, it might be a little hard to see, but it says Chrome. You can see because I renamed it. So no longer will it say Wavelink browser, even if you called it Chrome in Wavelink, it'll now actually just say Chrome. Or it'll, if you have a game or if you have a specific app, something like that. So super simple. I think the next thing that we'll talk about is hiding channels. So this kind of goes a little bit hand in hand. So you'll see right now there's all these audio channels that are being made by Wavelink right in Windows, these audio outputs. So you have system, music, sound effects, voice chat, lobby, game, Chrome, yada, yada, yada. And the reality is that we know that not all of you use Wavelink for all its audio routing capabilities. In fact, I know folks who just use it really for the sound processing, which is awesome. Um, with Wavelink 1, you would always have these virtual channels here no matter what. But with Wavelink 2, check this out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to remove maybe not system because that seems kind of important. But we'll go ahead and remove game. So check this out. I removed what was it? System, Chrome, and game. Now if I go back into those settings in Windows and we go to the output, check it out. Those are actually gone now. Let me move that over there. Those are actually gone now. So they automatically hide. This means if I remove actually all channels from Wavelink, if I removed all of them except the mic, you would have nothing here except like your headphone output. So this cleans it up a lot. If you only use it for maybe your system sounds and music, again, you don't have to go overboard with the routing here. It's super powerful, but trust me, sometimes you just want to keep it simple. Uh, if all you have is like music and system, then all you'll have here is music and system. It's really, really nice. So it's a little quality of life improvement coming from 1.0 that we've added to 2.0. Some of you probably aren't ever going to notice it. So for some of you, you've been waiting for this for a long time. So I'm happy that it's in there. It's also less confusing, right? If you go in here and you're like, okay, which output did I need again? Yada yada yada. Then this just makes it cleaner.
One
Um,
thing I really like about
yeah,
this too is like in video games, when you're trying to when it gives you the option to route to different kind of outputs, before you would have a huge list because it would output everything. It would say like wavelength music, wavelength game, wavelength web, browser, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And certain games, because of how long the names were and how many inputs, it would just like look funny on certain UIs in certain games. Or now go into certain games. One thing I've noticed is like World of Warcraft in particular. The UI is so much cleaner now because you can actually it doesn't it just whatever you have in Wavelink it shows that now.
yeah,
Plus
yeah,
just the
yeah.
name as well. So it's a lot shorter and a lot easier to handle multiple inputs.
So
So
what's next? What do
we
we
do
have
have a few
next?
questions first.
Oh, okay.
So Chronic Mayhem is asking, how do you use a Wavelink? Because they're wondering if you have to own Wavelink microphones, all that stuff. Like, how do we unlock Wavelink?
That's actually a
So
great question, and you know what I'm gonna do here real quick is I'm actually gonna open the, Wave, product page, which we just built, and this has a ton of info, so if you're new to Wavelink and this is kind of the first time you're seeing it, let's take a little scroll here together. So this is on the Elgato website. You'll find it here. If you just go to products and then Wave, you'll see here there's Wavelink. And this tells you all about it. This tells you all of the cool features that you have. You can click into a lot of this stuff here. There's even pretty much every video that you can find on here has some sort of audio that you can listen to. So, I hear that, you guys probably don't hear that. But yeah, you can actually listen to and hear things and, check it out and see if Wavelength is something that, is something that you wanna use. And then at the bottom here, it goes a little bit more into detail about what unlocks Wavelink. And so this is, the current options here. So you do need a Wave 3, a Wave XLR, a Wave Neo, or a Stream Deck Plus. There's one more product, but it kinda goes hand in hand with Stream Deck Plus, which is the XLR dock for Stream Deck Plus. And then all the way at the even lower down, we have a bunch of, questions here. So, like, do I need an Elgato microphone connected to use Wavelink? Pretty much. In fact, James, I think you wrote the copy on this, so shout out to James. Uh, the only exception is with Stream Deck Plus, Wavelength needs an Elgato mic to perform its low latency audio mixing, right? So everything that you may want to know should be answered here, and if not, then well, you're on the live stream here, so perfect time to get your questions in. Talks about the audio mixing as well, and then lastly, all the way at the bottom, we get a little bit into like the tech specs. Tells you exactly how many inputs, outputs, what effects are supported, languages, what you can add into Wavelink, and then also what the system requirements are. So yeah, go check that out at elgato.com. This brand new awesome Wavelink page talks all about it.
yeah, like DJ saying was like sort of like DJ saying, the only really exception is if you're using like an XLR microphone, because we have options available so you can power your XLR mic. Hence is the only reason why that's the only available option to do that. But um yeah, if you're using like a USB mic, you only way you can add that into Wavelink is you first must have a compatible device first. So it is an option to add, but you must have a compatible device first.
Sweet. And then question from Bjorn on YouTube. Does Wavelink 2.0 also work with Streamlabs desktop?
Absolutely. Wavelink works with Streamlabs Desktop, OBS Studio, Meld. What is it? Stream Elements. I mean, pretty much XSplit.
XSplit,
Uh,
that's what say. Don't forget XSplit, TOG.
it works with everything. It works with everything. Oh, TikTok Studio. I think they're still around, right? Yeah.
They're banned for a day.
For a day. What else? I mean, yeah, it just works with everything. Yeah.
Sweet. Next question from CoolGuy83. Can you change the little pictures on for like game, voice chat, etc.?
Hey, good question,
Ooh.
cool guy. That's a pretty cool question. Uh, you can't change these pictures, and I'm saying this as I'm mousing over them, but you can't see. These icons here, no. So those are automatically pulled from essentially the icons from Windows. A little bit unfortunate is that, UWP apps from Windows, so ones that you install from the store, they don't exactly look super nice. We're still working on a way to see if we can get this to look nicer, but currently they get this, like, blue border, which isn't great. So if you'll see, like, most apps, most games, things that you have, they'll all look normal. It's only the ones that you got from the Windows Store that have this little well, they'll have, like, a little square around them for some reason.
Sweet. Next question is from Congruent. As a heavy Teams user, I've gotten used to using speakers and either my Wave 3 or the MacBook mic. I'm noticing that the audio playing over my speakers is picked up. Is there any impact on the Teams feedback blocking or any thoughts on using this without and feedback loops when using speakers? By the way, to clarify, I've never experienced a feedback loop here, but I'm seeing it with Wavelink too.
Interesting. That then I mean, you're kind of putting it in the, like, hardest position that it could, right? You're playing out meetings which sound like people, and so, for example, if you use voice focus, I actually imagine there's a good chance that voice focus would pick that up. because it hears people and it's like, "Oh, look, there's people voices. I'm gonna, let that through." Um, you may wanna look into, at that point, like, an additional essentially noise reduction, something like the basic Elgato noise removal, because that's more like a noise gate in a way, so try that. Maybe also try lowering the gain. Um, but yeah, you're really kind of stretching it, and Wavelink itself doesn't have any sort of, loop, uh, detection built in. So some apps, obviously what you can do, like Teams, Teams is audio going in, Teams is audio going out. Teams can look and be like, okay, there's audio playing out, the same audio is coming back in. I'm probably, feedbacking or something like that. Wavelength doesn't have that built in. Most apps kind of don't because, well, I think people assume that if you have a mic, you probably aren't using speakers, or at least, taking care of either adding effects or keeping the speakers low or turning the gain down on the mic. So yeah.
Sweet. And we have another question from, I believe, Chloe asking, does any mic work with Elgato Wavelink 2.0 or is it only the Elgato mics? So you'll need to own either Stream Deck Plus, Wave 3, Wave XLR, Wave Neo, and I think there was one more, correct? In order for it to unlock Wavelink? Or did I get them all?
You say Wave XLR?
I did, yes. Stream Deck Plus, Wave
Yeah, as long as it's a
3.
Wave device, of course, the only exception, I mean, of course, the Wave DX won't unlock it because you need to something to power it, like a Wave XLR. But the only exception besides to that is the Stream Deck Plus. And like Phil was saying, of course, we have on the website, if you just go to the Wavelink page, you can actually see which devices exactly unlocks Wavelink.
Awesome. And then a question that we did answer earlier by Kitty Goddess. Is there a way to hear yourself before you go live? If we just want to quickly show that again.
Yeah, let me do that here. So we covered that earlier, but that's that new. So there's two ways to do it. There's kind of the old way,
Yeah,
which is just simply unmute your. You could just unmute your mic if you want to. You could just do monitoring. You could also just listen to the stream mix for a little bit, right? So there's this button down here. This changes over the toggle to the stream mix, and then you'll hear that. But what's new in Wavelink 2 is Soundcheck, and Soundcheck is built in with your Elgato Wave mic now, and it lets you record I think it's up to 10 seconds of audio. So,
correct.
you just press the record button, you record for 10 seconds, and then you can and it'll loop this infinitely, like, until you stop it, and then you can obviously hear what you sound like. But the other cool thing is you can then turn on and off effects and add new ones or remove them, change the parameters, and hear how those affect your voice in real time. So there you can, like, okay, my voice is, I want a little bit more, I need an EQ in there, or, oh, I do have a lot of background noise. Let me, bump up voice focus, or let me, turn it off because I actually sound really great and I don't even need it. Um, you can do all of that right here, right within the mic popover.
Thank you. Next question from
I want
Too
to
Many. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, James. You want to add something?
I just saw one I was gonna answer real quick. Someone asked if they can use voice focus with different mic and Stream Deck Plus. The only way, I mean, it's designed to be used with Wave devices, and Stream Deck Plus with the XLR dock. So if you're using the XLR dock with Stream Deck Plus, then yes. If you're only using a standalone Stream Deck Plus, then no, voice focus will not work with the different mic. It has to be the XLR dock for Stream Deck Plus.
Awesome. Next question's from Too Many Elephants on YouTube. I use Ecamm Live. Can I route audio from integrated Zoom interviews through Wavelink?
I believe so, but I will be honest, I've not used that functionality or tried it, so I'm only gonna say believe. I don't actually, I can't actually confirm that 100%.
And then a continuation from Bjorn. They respond back with, "Oh, cool. And I got a Wave 3 mic and a Stream Deck XL, but Stream Deck XL doesn't have a dock that you can attach to it. How do I implement Wavelink 2.0 into Streamlabs desktop?"
Well, since you have a Wave 3, you're all set. So, in Streamlabs Desktop, just select as a mic input, select Wavelink Stream, and then you're good to go. And then you
Yep.
can handle all of your audio mixing and routing right in Wavelink, and then it sends the one stream mix out to Streamlabs Desktop.
And then, of course, with your XL, you can just install the Wavelength plugin, and then you can adjust the different kind of sources as need be. So that your music, your voice, your game, etc. Just from if you want, obviously in the software or from your Stream XL.
And then a question from YouTube by Nick. Is Voice Focus a VST plugin? Is it a plugin I can add to a track in post-processing after recording raw mic input?
It is
Great
not.
question.
So it is in Wavelink, and there's not a VST effect essentially. So this is built into Wavelink. Yeah, what you could do in theory is essentially you play out the audio that you want to process through Wavelink and then back into, the audio, or, and then record that. So that's one way that you could essentially take advantage of voice focus. But yeah, there's no way to, let's say you use a video editor or a DAW, to use voice focus in there.
Wait, let's see. I think we have answered all the current questions that's related to the segment. So we can move on to the next one here.
Okay. Which
A lot of
And
is,
talk about shoot, one sec. A lot of talk about Stream Plus. Just want to confirm. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're not quite sure, then yeah. I mean, Stream Plus definitely works with Wavelink 2.0. Any of our Stream work with the Wavelink plugin got an update as well. So your Stream will definitely work with it, no problem.
well,
and
just to clarify, right? Because I think there's some nuance there. So Stream Deck Plus gives you access to Wavelink 2.0. Stream Deck Plus, however, does not, because it's not a microphone, you don't get the microphone features. So that means you don't get voice focus and you don't get sound check. There's the Stream Deck plugin for Wavelink, which lets you control Wavelink. And yeah, that works with every Stream Deck, of course. But Stream Deck Plus is the only Stream Deck device that unlocks Wavelink for you.
Yeah, I should have clarified. Good call on that. I meant like the plugin mostly. I was covering like the plugin, but yeah.
all
Okie
right,
dokie.
I think we can go in more about Stream Deck now, since we've been talking a lot about
Yes,
Wavelink.
let's do it. Okay, so let me hop over to the screen share again. So Stream Deck, right? We've talked a lot about Wavelink itself, but obviously, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with Stream Deck already, and there's some cool new features that we added. The first one is simplifying your setup, or the time it takes to get set up, right? So if I were to set up Stream Deck today with Wavelink, or rather, let's say a week ago, it would look a little bit like this, right? I'd go into Wavelink, get the plugin here, I'd go into Stream Deck, I'd download the Wavelink plugin from Marketplace, and then start, configuring, okay, I want this input, I want this in here, and I want that output there. And, you start dragging and dropping, and then you have to customize. It gets a lot. It gets too much, especially if you think about something like a Stream Deck XL here, right? With its 32 keys, you're going to have a lot of setup to do here. So we thought a little bit about how can we improve this, and we added this new feature called Add to Stream Deck. It's quite simple. You click on it if you have a Stream Deck. If you have multiple Stream Decks, it'll actually show you the different models that you have. So I'm going to demo this with XL here. You hit Create Profile, and what this will do is it will pop up a Stream Deck window. You might also, again, if you have multiple Stream Decks, you might need to select it again. And then you just hit Install. And check it out. When I go back to the XL, boom, the Wavelink configuration that I have, so my mic on the left, then voice chat, which is yellow, then, the pink icon for music, blue, it's entirely set up and configured on the Stream Deck XL here. It's even built multiple pages for me, so that way I can see all of my channels. Now, the great thing is this isn't like locked per se. So if I'm actually like, okay, I really like all this audio control, but now I don't need all these sound effect controls, go ahead and just remove them. And now you can, of course, replace them if you wanted like OBS on there, or other features, or other actions. Then you could drag those onto these keys. But essentially, you just went from potentially tens to hundreds of clicks to set up, a Wavelink control with Stream Deck, to like 3, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, and it uses the color icons, which is great. So yeah, that's Add to Stream Deck. It just makes the configuration super simple, and of course, it works across different devices, right? So if we go back to the Stream Deck Plus here, I'm on I'll empty out this profile here. So we're on a completely empty profile. I'm going to go back into Wavelink, select Stream Deck Plus, create profile. It's going to pop up the window, select it, Stream Deck Plus, and hit install. Now I'll bring up Stream Deck again, and you'll see it actually knows, okay, well, Stream Deck Plus, you really don't want to use a bunch of keys for volume control. You want to use the dials. And so it placed all of the different channels, again, in the same order that I've set up, right onto the dials here. And so then I can, switch between them here, swiping. Actually, let me see something. I think I had set this up earlier. I have way too many channels. Folks, don't be like me, right? Do as I say,
Profiles.
do as I say, not as I do. Stream, and then we want to go to stream. So now what I can do on the Stream Deck Plus is I can go in here and I can just swipe, to switch between these profile or these pages, that were automatically set up for me to control my volume. So that's kind of like the one of the really big new things is this add to Stream Deck feature, and it just, again, it simplifies your setup. It goes from minutes and maybe tens or even hundreds of clicks down to like 3 clicks, which is awesome. And it creates these bespoke profiles for you based on your own configuration. Next, we have 2 features that are from the Stream Deck plugin. So this is the, if you go to Elgato Marketplace, and I'll just show this in case you've never seen this before. This is Elgato Marketplace here. There we go. This is where you go when you click on the Marketplace button in Stream Deck, and then you can go to plugins here. And then, of course, you would find Wavelink, or you can also just search for it. Wavelink, there we go. And then, I'm not logged in currently, but if you are, then you would just hit get and it would download for you. So we just released an update to this plugin, which added a couple new features. So the first one of these is, let me switch back to Stream Deck Plus here actually to demo this, is foreground app routing. So we talked earlier about routing applications into Wavelink. And with Wavelink 2, it's a lot easier, right? If I have a music, I can just, click on this here. I can, select Spotify, have Spotify go to the music channel. Super easy. Takes, well, 1 and then, 2 clicks, something like that. Well, Stream Deck, you can do it even faster with 1 tap. So check this out. I'm going to take an input action, and I'm going to select add, and then I'm going to select the channel that I want to add an app to. So in this case, we'll do music, and we'll do a nice color icon. I'll move that there. Now what's going to happen is if I tap on this key, whichever application is in the foreground will route to the music channel. So let's see here. I can actually demonstrate this live as well. So we're going to unroute Spotify, and I'm simply going to click on Spotify here, and now I'm going to tap on the Stream Deck key. It might be kind of small, but did you see? Spotify just popped up there. That's because I have Spotify in the foreground. And so take this a step further. Imagine you play a lot of different games, right? You can just simply set this up, go to game, and now you almost never have to open Wavelink again, like in a weird way. Like you just launch your game and then you tap on that key and it'll just it'll add that game directly to, your Wavelink game channel that you have added. So this literally goes from now 2 clicks down to 1 tap of a key. But it gets even better. This is really cool. This is for all you folks with Stream Deck Plus out there. So this is Stream Deck Plus. It's empty, of course, and we have a feature for the dials called a action wheel. An action wheel. Think of it a little bit like a I don't know, like a gear selector in a game, right? If you played Horizon, you slow down the game. You can select what bow or what launcher you want to use. It's a little bit like that. So what I'm going to do is I've created an action wheel on a dial, and now I'm going to find Wavelink. Where is it? I've got too many plugins installed. There it is.
Search is the key.
That is true. And I'm going to add a bunch of these inputs. I'm going to start configuring them. So I'm going to add, voice chat. We'll do the nice colored icon. Then I'm going to do add music, add system, and then, of course, add game. That's always important. That's one that's probably going to be used often. And then, sure, we'll do sound effects as well. And now, when I close this, check it out. I'm going to switch back to this other scene that I have here. This is my Stream Deck Plus. instead of having to set up a bunch of different keys, for all of the different inputs,
Hold
all I
up,
do is
Phil.
I
It's
wrote
a little bit lagging right now for us. Might be your internet connection.
AT&T gigabit. Don't let me down
I'm gonna
here.
blame Jasmine's connection. I was
Yeah,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm gonna blame someone else's connection for this, not mine. Um,
It looks good, I think, now. I think it's good
yeah.
again.
Okay. So what you can then do is you can then simply turn the dial. So you saw earlier the red icon is for game. Let's say you launch a game. Then you just tap on that, press the dial, and boom, it routes your game. And then let's say you launch a chat app. You can then rotate over to the channel, the chat channel, which is yellow in this case, and then just press it, and then it routes the app there. And so you've taken essentially, you can have what, 8 channels. So you can have all 8 keys filled, and you've put them all on one dial, and you can rotate through them like a selector. It's really cool. So this is pretty awesome. So that's kind of like feature number one, is this one tab routing, and then on Stream Deck, you get this new feature. Also, hang on, I think I've got 20 messages. People are bugging me. Oh, okay, never mind. Everything's still okay. So then there was another Stream Deck feature added, which is foreground app control. And this is also all about making Stream Deck even easier to use with Wavelink. So check this out. Let's say I've got
This is a pretty cool feature.
I'm going to go ahead and put Spotify back on music here. Spotify. And let's do, what else do we have here?
Maybe open up a web browser, just play a video.
That's a good idea. I think if I go here, it should pop up. Oh, interesting. It doesn't. Okay. Let me open Microsoft Edge here. And I'm just going to pull that to the side, and then we'll go to YouTube and play a sound so that way it pops up. Oh, there we go. Microsoft Edge. Also, we're going to just rename this browser.
Like Phil mentioned this a couple of times, but that's very key. And if you don't see the app, it's because it needs the first time you route an app, it needs to detect audio at least once. So it's something if like you open up the app, like, hey, where's my app? It's very important that you play at least some kind of audio.
Yeah. And I see a question there from 2-Bit Horror, or they say this is this is very interesting. Are we going to get like a video that details all this stuff later? Because there's no way I'm going to remember all this. Yes. So we have videos, we have shorts, we have written guides on how to set this stuff all up. So maybe the team that's watching the chat, maybe they can put some links here for this kind of stuff. But yes, totally. I definitely don't imagine you're going to remember all of this. It's a lot of information. But okay, so where were we? So I've got 2 channels here, right? I've got the music channel with Spotify, and I've got the browser channel with Edge added here. And what if I want to control the volume of, the music channel and the volume of the browser, but using only one dial? How would that work? Well, check this out.
Dials. Just
I'm gonna
kidding.
add a new input action here, and we're gonna select foreground app. Instead of selecting, music, or, I could select music specifically, or I could select browser. And of course, that would then, if I rotate the dial, that would of course then control, what I have selected. But I want this one dial to control both. How would I do that? So I select foreground app. And now what this does is this will check what application is currently the one that you have selected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Edge here, and you'll see it might be a little bit small, but it says auto and then browser. And it knows that I have currently Edge, I've got it up here in the front. I've got Edge selected, and it's in the foreground. And now if I turn the dial, it'll control the browser volume. But if I now go over to Spotify and I click on Spotify, check that out. It changed automatically to auto music, because Spotify's in the music channel. So basically it checks what app it is, in this case Spotify. Oh, what channel is that in? It's in the music channel. Boom, now you control music. If I go back to Edge, it controls, checks, oh, it's Microsoft Edge, and then it controls the browser. So this is really cool. You can of course do that on the dial, but you can also do that on keys. So the setup is quite simple. I've got the Wavelink plugin here. I'll take 2 inputs. I'll hit add. Ba, 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 ba. or I'm sorry, it's adjust. I'll do adjust the foreground app. I'll do both mixes. The icon style, sure, we'll do static, and then I'll actually set this to minus. And then on this one, I'll do adjust foreground app. And then this time we'll actually do fader vertical. Can we do that on this one now too? Oh, that's interesting. Why is that? Oh, it's okay. I see why. We'll just set it to monitor mix. It'll look cooler. Vertical. So we'll do minus and we'll do +5. And now this will control, it'll do the same thing as the dial. So if I click on, something like Spotify, and you'll see here, when I tap on this, you can see here, it's actually controlling Spotify. Now I'm going to click on Edge again down here, and it's going to start controlling the, oh, you can't see it. That might help. It'll start controlling the browser channel. So this is just a really, I mean, it's kind of advanced in how you have to set it up. And again, we have documentation and, we'll have videos and all that stuff. But this is really cool because you can control, you could set one key, or sorry, two keys, or well, I guess if you just do one, if you want to mute, or one dial to control whatever app is in the foreground or whatever game you're currently playing, that sort of thing. So that was also added in the Wavelink plugin update. So it was, to kind of recap again, all the new things with Stream Deck and Wavelink 2.0 are, first, you have add to Stream Deck here. So creating the profile and instantly adding it to Stream Deck. The next thing was routing the foreground app to Stream Deck, right? So if I want to route, the game or the app that's currently selected to a certain channel, I can do that. And then finally, you have controlling the audio of the foreground application. All of this is dynamic, so that way, it reduces the amount of setup that you have to do and it makes it easier to control. And I think, was that it for Stream Deck? There's so many, I mean, there's just so many little things in this update too. Yeah, foreground app routing. I think that covers it then.
The major stuff. Yeah, I think it covers all the major.
Yes. So then next
Awesome.
up, again, in the interest of time here, maybe James, you could talk about dser.
Yeah, so we'll cover that real quick for the sake of time.
The cat.
I have a cat just jumping all over.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's being a little crazy once today. Hey, girl.
Aw.
Let me switch to full screen here. She's usually sleeping during the day, but now she knows I'm talking, so she's like, "All right, let's be a little bit more active today." Okay, so let's switch to desktop here. Awesome. So we have released our own dser, which is really nice if you've never used one before. So if you're not familiar with the dser, it helps with the excessive syllabuses, like the z's and sounds, in particular. So a lot of times, if you in normal day speech, you won't really notice it, but if you actually go back and listen to your recordings, you'll often recognize those and pick those out. Often me, I'm constantly like, wow, I don't realize it until I go back and listen to recording. So what we have is we actually release our own de-esser, which is very user friendly, which I really like as well. So if you never use this, it can automatically get you to a very nice base. So I'll demo it here. So of course, well, actually, before I even demo it, it's very simple to get. So like, say you need to download it. If you don't have it downloaded, what you'll simply do is just go to Elgato Marketplace. So of course, you saw I clicked on the little marketplace icon right here. You'll see a list of all of our effects that are currently available, and I just see it will be available right here. You can simply, once you're logged in, you click on Get, choose your operating system. It'll automatically detect your operating system, if I'm not mistaken, but you'll simply just click on Get, and then, of course, it'll be installed into Wavelink. So then from here, we'll actually start it from the beginning. Once it's actually added, we'll go into Elgato, the de-esser, and just like that, automatically applied. Well, it's applied, but we'll have to, do some tweaking here to make it adjusted. So I just see here, we give a nice little introduction to get you started. So all you'll simply do is just click on the microphone icon. De-essers move the sharp sounds, um, which of course right now, and then you'll see here, you'll get a graph right here, and you can adjust it and tune it to your voice as need be. Of course, if you want to go in as well, one thing about us is we are actually, and even I am a big fan of the real time feedback of like, especially when you're talking into, like say our equalizer or de-esser. Same thing with our de-esser, is you can see your voice in real time and adjust it as need be. So you can see where the sibilances are and adjust it as need be. So if I like say I wanted to make this a little bit not so impactful on my voice, so the reason why you would go higher is so it comes off more natural, and if you want to be more harsh, and to be more effective, you would just drag it down right here, for example, and it would apply for those particular effects. And so, um, Phil, did you want to add anything on that? Ratio, attack, or release, it just allows you to just adjust the settings that need be. So the ratio just really comes down to how it applies to your voice, and you can make it more natural, like I said, more natural sounding, or if you want it to be more um, impactful on your voice. Uh, did
Yeah,
you
I
have
mean,
anything to
a
add on that?
de-esser kind of like some of the other plugins that we have, and audio effects. It's not required, right? So I would recommend if you either if you listen to your own audio and you realize, oh yeah, there's a lot of sibilance. Um, Typically, you'll notice this in condenser microphones because they're a little bit more, how do I put it, sensitive to sound. Even the word sensitive, I don't know why I say it like that. Just sensitive. Um, they'll pick up on that sibilance a little bit more, and so then you might want to add the de-esser to it. You also might find that something like voice focus already actually kind of handles it a little bit, which it kind of does. It's not a de-esser per se, but it again, it will work on your sound a little bit for you. And then of course you can use sound check to actually make sure that the before and after, like, hey, does it, did it actually remove sibilance or did it remove too much? Essentially of that high end, those higher frequencies. That can be a little bit painful. So definitely go check it out. But I can already feel the questions. Like, oh, do I need to use this? Should I use this? And it's simply a matter of um, try it, and maybe it works for you. Maybe you like the way you sound with it. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you don't like it. I've personally never found that I needed one. Yeah, if you have a pop filter, for example, those also tend to already do a little bit. Like they'll help with it. Um, but yeah, that's
It
yeah. Go ahead, James.
Because it all depends on your voice. Like someone like me, I use voice focus and I still want to use one personally. So I'm actually really happy we finally released one. Because when I go back to recordings, I'm like, oh gosh, I could. It's just like Phil was saying, it comes down to a very personal thing. If you're very picky with your audio, you might pick it up yourself, and you want to just, of course, just make it perfect. For me, I gotta try to make it as perfect as possible.
Agreed, agreed. So I think we pretty much covered everything that we wanted today. That was I feel like that was a lot that we have covered, and it's already been almost 2 hours since we've been kind of talking about all these amazing new features and this amazing, amazing update. So with that being said, this is a question for chat as well. What
Ooh.
is your favorite feature from this update?
Well, what's yours, Jasmine?
Oh
You got to
gosh,
lead the
okay.
pack here. What is it?
That's
Lead by
tough.
example.
That's honestly really tough because, like, personally, for me, I do really like the soundtrack a lot. So
Yeah.
the soundtrack, I feel like helps me a lot because sometimes instead of like, starting my stream and being like, "Can you guys hear me? Is my audio okay? Does it sound fine? Are my audio
Hmm.
effects working?" It's
Yeah.
just more of a I can listen to it myself now and not have to worry if I'm muted or anything. Because I know my community always gets me for that, saying, "Jasmine, you're muted." And then I'm just like, you know? So I think that's one of them. But then the second one would probably be voice focus for sure. I think that's like the two of them that I really like. So personally for me, my setup for my Wavelink is that I only use D-Gate. That's the only thing I use, is just D-Gate. So I can I can have you guys hear the difference maybe. So for sure. Let me go
So
ahead
it was high
and
time that you added some good noise removal.
yeah, yeah, because I
The
only use
keyboard's
D-Gate
gone.
for my life. Because I mean, honestly, I still sounded really good with D-Gate. My setup and like my room, it works out for me and like my voice as well. All I needed was D-Gate for my audio. I didn't need it to add anything else to it. Um, but here. I'm turning off voice focus, so it's off now. And this is just how the audio sounds for me personally with using just D-Gate. So now let me go ahead and mute D-Gate. So this is how the audio sounds now without D-Gate. I'm not sure if you guys can hear a difference or not. You guys probably can, if anything, because I remember one time I didn't have D-Gate on, someone mentioned it. And they're like, what? They're like, Jasmine, I think you need to, check your audio. I was like, oh, okay. So let me go ahead and turn it on with just voice focus and no D-Gate. So how does it sound? This is without D-Gate.
You just sound there's less, again, like room noise, roomy. You sound closer. You sound like you're, recording a voiceover or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, listen, I think I saw someone say that they can't hear anything different. Really? It's no difference to someone. What?
Maybe turn
Start
up your
typing on your
sound
keyboard.
or
Oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah, the keyboard thing definitely helps. So here, let me go ahead and type something. So
And this is what we hear, like when we're just in a call randomly with Jasmine. This is what we hear often. It's just her typing when she's not talking.
Whoa, Jasmine, you told me to ignore chat's opinions. Why would you
whoa,
type that?
whoa, that's not what I typed, excuse
That's
you.
crazy. Guys, she just wrote that to me, like on the side. That's wild.
No.
Why would she
Okay.
do that?
So now I'm gonna turn voice focus on and I'm gonna start typing now, alright? So
And now she's saying, "Why would you say that out loud?" Guys,
whoa,
this is
whoa.
nuts. But yeah, no, agreed. We couldn't hear you typing, so it was pretty
Okay,
stealthy.
so
That's great.
that's the new update there, which is pretty cool. I'm super excited, super happy with voice focus
Yeah.
and everything here. But that was my two favorites. I probably should have only picked one, but it's hard for me to pick. I'm indecisive.
In chat, I saw a lot of the Stream Deck features, which is awesome. Yeah, our team has been doing a lot of thinking about how to just integrate Stream Deck and Wavelink even more and really simplify that setup. And these are pretty awesome. James, what about you? What's your favorite feature if you had to pick one?
If I had to pick one,
I know it's tough.
if I had to just pick one, voice focus, I probably would say is a really cool addition because it makes anyone with our mics essentially sound even better without having. Because yes, of course, if you're comfortable with VSTs or AUs, it's very easy to make yourself sound even better. But now it's just like a very simple toggle on and adjust it. I really like that. And then second, it's me being more of a tech kind of guy. I really like the quality of life stuff we did. So like renaming of the virtual channels, and just how virtual channels are seen in Windows or the operating system is very cool because now if you remove something, you don't have like 8 channels or 9 channels.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always there. So I like that a lot.
I'm just thinking about audio routing too. I'm just like, oh my gosh, wait, I actually can't pick. There's like three that I really like. Because,
Yeah, because like I would
oh
have
my
never like
god.
installed like a fresh install of Windows. You have like just like your headset microphone or like your Wave 3 plugged in, and then of course you install Wavelink, and then it's like 10 more inputs or 8 more inputs. Of course, you're like, oh dang, like the list got so much longer. So now that I'm not using all these, I'm only just simply using 2 inputs. It's nice to see, hey, yeah, the list is only this big.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Phil, it's your turn.
Awesome. I mean, I have to go with voice focus as well. Obviously, I mean, it works really well. I think we've demonstrated that. Um, for me, the key thing though is that what we, and it's maybe a little bit off topic, but when we look at integrating features into our products that make your life as a creator easier, either easier or lets you do something you couldn't do before, we want to do it in a way that like makes sense and is impactful. And something that I really appreciate about Elgato is that AI has been the buzzword for a number of years now, and it's kind of everywhere. And we're taking a very kind of methodical approach to, okay, what actually makes sense and what is something that we can put out that that you guys, right, our users would actually use and would benefit from. Because sure, we could just slap AI on everything and call it a day, right? Like what, yeah, whatever. But really taking a measured approach to, okay, does this work? Does it work well? Does it work for the majority of people? Will it actually enhance? A kind of a phrase I told someone the other day was like, we want to enable magic. Like we want this experience where you have a mic, you record yourself, and like, wow, there's a lot of background noise. This does not sound good. You turn on voice focus with one click, and you're like, wow, this sounds incredible, right? And it's that kind of magical moment of like, wait, how does this work? How did they do that? We almost like we don't you shouldn't have to care necessarily like how it works. Obviously, if you're into tech and stuff like that, you might, but if really it should just be you click the on button and it works
It
and
just
it sounds
works.
great and it's kind of that magical experience. And that to me is what's super powerful about voice focus is there is that moment of like, dang, it's subtle, but it's definitely noticeable and it just works. And so that's why I think voice focus is going to be my pick.
Let's go. Yeah, I saw a lot of people comment that their favorite feature from this update is definitely voice focus. I saw a lot of those comments from, let me see, voice focus, voice focus. They can't pick, they like it all. That's so valid. That's me. That's me. Auto routing, let's see, adding the apps on Wavelink. Yeah, yep. The muting, love seeing that. But sweet, I think we are currently, yeah, we have covered everything. So are you guys good to go a little bit over time to answer some quick questions that we may
I
have?
could go a little bit longer, yeah.
James?
A little bit.
Alright, a little
Yeah,
bit.
a little
Alright,
bit fun.
guys. If you guys have any questions from Wavelength 2.0, from what we talked about, ask them now. We'll try to answer as many as we can. But if you don't get to your question, don't worry, because this Friday we have a Discord Q&A featuring Wavelength 2.0, an overview, and a Q&A once more. So do not stress over it because it'll be me and James. We'll both be on that stream that day. So you have us both to answer questions that you guys may have and then just fill in the middle. But alright, so that event will be taking place in our Discord server, so make sure to join our Discord server if you guys haven't already. That is the best place to, one, get notified for any of our streams, for any announcements, and to win, free Elgato merch, guys. There's a lot of information on that too. Go join our amazing community. We have built an incredible community, so check it out. Go join if you haven't already. Then what are you doing? But alright, so let me go ahead and catch up on the questions here. So, bum, 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 bum. I'm scrolling up a little bit. Bjorn from YouTube asks, should I disable NVIDIA when using Wavelink 2.0?
My recommendation would be, yeah, just use voice focus. If you still find, you can test it then obviously with sound check, but if you still find there's noise, then, feel free to enable it. But I think you'll be very happy with the result of just using voice focus and the additional performance that you get back.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then next question is from Omar from YouTube. Are you guys planning on doing tutorial videos on using these new updates? I just updated 2.0, looked amazing. It's a bit confusing for me.
Yes. So we are going to be working on some videos. We also have guides already, written guides out today. In fact, James put a lot of those together. So if you have any, feedback on those, just send them to James directly. Just be like, yo, my guy, this guide is really good, really
Yeah,
confusing. It doesn't cover what I need.
let me just
um,
post my email real quick in the chat so people can send me direct feedback.
Next
but
question is
yeah,
from, oh, go ahead.
we also have a essentially a support like chat bot that you can talk to. That thing has a lot of information, and in fact, it might even I know it's kind of a cliche, like, "Oh, just talk to the chat bot." No, I mean, we feed it all of this information about how these updates work and what the features are. So you might actually be able to just get, if you're at you could ask it, "How do I do this? How do I do that?" And it'll probably be able to help you out.
Next question is from 2-Bit Horror. Can you adjust voice focus sensitivity?
You absolutely
Yes.
can, yeah, yeah.
There's a slider bar inside the when you click on voice focus, there's a slider. And like Phil was mentioning with sound check, the nice part is you can oh gosh, excuse me. With sound check, of course, you can actually hear the difference and see what it sounds like with it being applied.
Thank
Although
you for that quick
typically
demo.
and my recommendation would be really is just kinda turn it on, set it to max strength, and leave it there, unless you find it adversely affects your audio, as in it doesn't sound good after that, but I think for most of you, it'll probably be fine.
Mhm.
Sweet. The lion's reaction from YouTube is asking, is there a way to do ducking in Wavelink?
There is not, and we get this question a bunch. It's actually there's a technical reason. Like, it's not that we don't wanna add ducking or that ducking isn't useful. I find ducking useful. We actually use it quite a bit in our videos. You know, when I'm talking, it'll lower, like, background music and stuff like that, so it's a useful feature, but there's a technical basically, the way the channels interact with each other behind the scenes, um, yeah, it's a technical thing, so I don't know if we'll be able to add it. You know, I can't really comment on that. I don't know enough about the internal workings, you know, from a dev perspective. So, but ducking is definitely something that's like kind of it's on our radar. Let's put it that way.
See, Gabbing About is asking, is the voice focus another option other than NVIDIA broadcasts, or is it work in tandem?
It'll work in tandem, but I would recommend just going with voice focus and see how you like it.
Yeah.
My gut feeling is that you're going to stick with just voice focus.
And as well, you get the resources back by just simply using voice focus too. So if you want to get the extra GPU usage back, it's more of it. It's available.
We also have a our dear friend who is not on this live stream, Steggy. He put out a video talking all about voice focus on our YouTube channel. I don't know if someone has a link queued up for that,
Yep.
possibly.
There's a link in the voice focus command.
Look at that. Jasmine's all prepared.
See, next question is from Sasko. Would it be possible to offload any of those voice focused CPU cycles to an NPU chip?
Great question. I would say I'm probably not technically qualified enough to answer that with a definitive like yes, no. I believe it would be possible if we, you know, wanted to do that. However, given its current like how good it is and also how minimal the CPU usage is, I'm not sure it's worth essentially the time investment, right? It's kind of like, okay, what if in theory we spent 6 months trying to get it to run on an NPU and then it does, and it's like, yay, and now you save 2% CPU usage, or we spend 6 months working on some dope new feature and you still use 2% of your CPU. I don't know. Something to think about.
Hmm. Next question is by Jan Trax. If this is something we can share, is there any ETA on when low latency mode will come back?
That's another one where I don't have enough information on that one at the
Yeah,
moment.
no update at the moment. I want to come back.
Our team is definitely working on it though, that's for sure. I see constant activity around that, so they're looking into it. Again, the thought behind releasing Wavelink 2.0 without it was simply, you know, if we left it in, there was a probability that some of you would have had that issue where the game channel just has no audio. So that's not a great experience. So we would rather take it out, let you know that it's gone, and that you know we're working on it, and then you know find a fix and put it back in when it's working, versus risking you know a percentage of you guys in chat, you know, oh, it's not working, and then you contact our support team and you have a bad experience, right? So this is kind of a broader approach, and then we'll add it back in when we essentially get it fixed.
Awesome. And then next question is from Archie Robbie. Can I have my Wave 3 and VR mic both routed through microphone FX if I use voice mod in the FX channel?
What was the second part? The VR mic?
VR mic.
Not
Not
through microphone effects, no.
no. Only one mic goes into mic effects, and that's your essentially your Elgato mic.
And then next question is from Hiloette. Do you guys have voice focus at full strength right now or halfway-ish?
Mine's at full.
Uh, I am at full as well.
I am at like, I'll say 90% there. Not completely full, but kind of close, I'll say. It's probably around like 85 to 90%.
But for comparison, I just turned it off. So now this is with voice focus off. Again, in my room, it's, you know, I've got a carpet, there's some furniture around, so it's pretty well, you know, treated in that sense against things like reverb. Um, I've only got my computer on. There's no background noise, so it's you know it's a Wave DEX. It's dynamic, so I'm pretty close to it. You know, my gain is pretty dialed in at 45 dB right now. So overall, like this is what I would consider pretty good sound already. Like I would have no, and there's no effects on it right now. This is literally nothing. This is the raw audio. Now I'll turn on voice focus at the maximum strength, and you can hear what the difference is there. I'm sure there is a difference. And obviously now it just sounds better, and the cool thing is all of you guys can do the same thing, you just turn it on, yeah.
Uh, just to just to chime in on that one up, Cat, is if with Stream Deck Plus, it will use one third party output to Wavelength Microphone FX, and that's why that's available. But it won't. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think it's gonna do both. It's just only gonna do one of the inputs. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Phil, but I believe it only does one input. Even with the Stream Deck Plus, it's just gonna be the first input that gets added.
Um, I don't exactly remember, but I believe so, yeah. I would need to double check.
All right.
Yeah, you might be able to do some kind of craziness to it, but yeah, I think by the actual design of it though, yeah, when you add a mic into Stream Deck Plus or into Wavelength with your Stream Deck Plus, it just that one mic will route to microphone FX.
The other thing I need to mention, is and again, this is also on the Wavelink, site as well. If or let me rephrase it. For voice sync and the sound check feature voice sync, I'm already getting all confused here. For voice focus and sound check, you do need an Elgato microphone. So that means a Wave 1, a Wave Neo, a Wave 3, a Wave XLR, so you can use any XLR mic, but it needs that XLR interface, the Wave XLR, or the XLR dock for Stream Deck Plus. If you have a Stream Deck Plus only, then you do not get access to voice focus and sound check because with Stream Deck Plus you have Wavelink, but you're not using an Elgato mic. You're most likely using some other mic. So this is a feature exclusive to Elgato microphones.
Huh,
All
so
right.
that's on my shirt. No, these are not flags. It's just more patterns. It's like yeah, just a bunch of patterns.
James
All
and I
right.
totally synced on our color today too. When we hopped in before the stream, it's like, hey, we're almost matching here. It's maroon, maroon
Oh
day.
my god. Oh.
Technically, I'm close. I'm just pink.
Hmm.
All right. So, question from Nick on YouTube. If I use voice focus, do I need to enable dser and compressor as well? Or does voice focus do all that already?
I would suggest this: turn on voice focus only, and then just see. The nice thing is if you have Wavelink, you can update to it, to Wavelink 2, you can turn it on, you can then use sound check or, right, do a recording, go live, whatever, get some feedback from folks, and then just see how it is. Again, I think that you'll be pretty happy with just voice focus, and you probably don't even need those other effects, but hey, it's all up to you.
The next question is from Engra. He's asking, would you recommend voice focus over audio filters in OBS, or would you say they can work hand in hand?
I would definitely recommend it over audio filters and OBS, yes. You also, in terms of, like, your audio chain, you essentially wanna process the audio as close to the mic as you can. In this case, that would be like Wavelink. So, yeah, definitely try at least for your microphone. I don't know what other effects you're using, but definitely for the mic audio, if you've got an Elgato mic, use voice focus. I think you'll be really happy.
Sweet. And then let me see. Where'd I go?
I see a
Next
question here from
question.
Flavored
Oh, go ahead.
Grapes. Are you able to use spatial audio through Wavelink? Not It's kind of a yes, no-ish answer. Does it support essentially sending in like 7.1 audio, 5.1, or essentially Dolby Atmos audio? No. Can you virtualize it using, like there's the Dolby Atmos app? I believe you can do that, yeah. So you can still get that kind of like fake surround sound, but Wavelink itself only operates in stereo.
And then we have a really sweet comment from KB Sincere on YouTube. They said, you guys don't get often credits for this, I swear, but it sounds so amazing. With cute little emojis.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we put a lot of work, and in fact, Brett, who makes a lot of our YouTube videos, he was on a plane all of yesterday, flying across the country, gets home to Seattle. It's snowing. The Uber that he takes home can't even get up the hill. All the while, he's working on getting those videos out that you're seeing today, and then had to get up early and do so. We try to we try to make sure that these launches and that these feature updates are, something special every time.
There's a
Yes.
lot of stuff we do in the background, I will say you never expect, but it's definitely worth it at the end of the day when we see it all come live.
Yeah.
Next question is from Clutch Key. Also, now that I know I have to sign in on both, is there any way to keep the Elgato login like constant? I sometimes have to log in over and over again when I open the app, and I'd like to not have to keep doing that.
That shouldn't be a thing anymore. I believe we addressed that. If it's still happening for you, I suggest reaching out to our support team. They might be able to help you out a little bit further there.
Yep. Yeah. For any support questions, guys, we do have a support command. So make sure to go, what was it, file a ticket, or you can also call them. 100% recommend. We have an incredible support team who are super happy to help. But I think we're good to. Oh wait, okay. One last question from Speed.
One more?
Speed Eraser. Yeah, this is the last question we're taking here, and then we'll do the giveaway. So, would you suggest a clean install of Wavelink to get the most out of 2.0 if you're currently having problems with your current install?
If your current install has no problems, like you're completely happy with it, no, just install it over. There's nothing wrong though with doing a clean install. You just might have to, whatever your configuration is, you might have to redo it. Uh, but yeah, you should be fine to just install 2.0. No issues there.
Awesome. All right. With that being said, we're done with the Q&A. We hope we, answered all your questions, or at least most of your questions here, and hope this was a
I
very
feel like we
informational and
left
helpful
some
stream.
questions
The
hanging.
only thing I can really think of, because I've seen it a couple of times come up, is if you guys are having troubles with any of the stuff for Stream Deck for Wavelink, make sure you're logged in to your marketplace account and you have the latest Wavelink plugin downloaded. So that's one thing you definitely want to make sure. So if you're not seeing like for example, the foreground app as an option, that will be under input. So when you add as an input and then under input, you'll see the foreground app. If you don't see that, um, make sure you're up to date. From the looks of it, it's Wavelink 2.3.0 and then 112. So definitely just make sure you're running the latest plugin from Marketplace if you need it. But that is definitely going to be a key thing if you're using Wavelink 2.0.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. If there's anything else that you guys want to say before we go ahead and start the giveaway,
Listen, chat, you all are the best. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Get Wavelength 2.0. Use it. Y'all rock. Stay cool. I'm out.
where are you
Okay,
going?
I don't know.
You're stuck with us. You're not leaving.
You needed something to make you just poof.
Yeah,
Well, just
Poof.
like
I
Poof.
unfortunately don't have
the
that
camera still
is
on.
there's no poof Stream Deck button yet. That'll be the real magic, one day.
Oh my gosh. All right. So, for those of you guys who still have questions related to a topic that's not about future potential or potential future product Russians, then stop by our Discord server. We are hosting another Discord Q&A about Wavelink 2.0 this Friday at 2 p.m. PT until maybe like 4 p.m. Something like
Jasmine
that.
and I will be there.
Yes, James and I will both be there to quickly go do an overview of you guys and then to help finish answering any questions we might have missed from this stream. But yeah, with that being said, let's get some hearts in chat for the team, amazing team who's worked really hard on Wavelength 2.0, our beta testers, for Phil, James, and for our amazing mods as well. And for our community, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay, Phil and James, what's a good keyword that they should start typing in chat to enter the giveaway? Also, the giveaway has not started yet,
Mm,
guys. So don't even think about typing the keyword yet because we haven't started it yet.
there is no keyword, only Zool. Well, I think we have to it either needs it needs to be something like voice focus or like
We
what
can
just wavelength,
let's do a
something
voice
like that.
focus. Voice focus. I like that one. Let's do that.
Keyword is a lie, exactly.
The keyword
But yeah,
is
if you guys have more questions, definitely,
Mic
make sure to
check.
stop by the Discord town hall chat on Friday. There's usually less
Come
people
bug
there,
me.
which means there's a higher chance of your question being answered. And yeah, we would like to answer like every question, but it's just not realistic. Like I saw a lot of them come through and there's a lot of really good ones,
Mhm.
but there's just so many.
There's so many, so many. I am setting
Oh,
it up. You guys
someone
have
in the
not
prime
entered
or
yet. It
something.
hasn't started yet, guys. It hasn't started yet. You know, it'd be funny if
No.
I if I said it so you can only type it once. If you type it more than once, then it just disqualifies you.
Or you
No,
just
you
set
should
chat
do
to
it.
emoji mode so no one can type anything, but they can just react.
Oh my
Just
god.
make it, yeah, every time you type it, it adds or removes. So if someone types it multiple times, they'll have no idea.
That's not fair. I mean,
That's just mean.
true.
Hey,
Doesn't
don't
chat.
worry. That's never happened, all right? If it does ever
Yeah.
happen, maybe it'll be an April Fool's meme where I'll be like, hey guys, just so you guys know, once this starts, you double it up, you're disqualified.
Hey, wait. So since I wasn't paying attention this whole live stream, what are we actually giving away?
We can-
Wave 3.
yeah, we can wave 3.
Oh, okay. Really cool.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys.
I got you, chat. I got you. If you didn't pay attention either, I got you.
Wow. Oh wait. Ignore the takeover. That was the wrong stream stream deck button I pressed. Stream deck key I pressed. I meant to press the
Hello, my
terms one.
name. Takeover.
Ignore that. It was next to the giveaway. It was next to the giveaway one.
Time to take over. Our time is
Misclick.
now.
All right.
You can't
So,
see me.
yep, type a voice focus to enter our Wave 3 giveaway. As you guys already know, for those of you guys who are new, or for those guys who just come very often, you do need to be present when the winner is drawn and type ending in chat to claim your prize. You will have 1 minute. If you don't respond within 1 minute on Twitch, then we are rolling for new winner. So we are really strict on this. Even if you're here like a minute and 30 minutes after, or sorry, a minute and 30 seconds after, sorry, we gotta draw a new winner. Rules are rules.
Oh, true. Someone said you gotta be following Elgato.
Yeah, you also have to be following our Twitch account. So if you're not following us, we also will be
That
re-rolling.
happened.
It happened
That
once.
happened
It happened
recently.
once.
That
It
happened
did.
about
A few streams
the
ago.
last stream I was on.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. So calling it out now. Make sure you follow us. Hit that follow button. This is your warning. This is a friendly reminder.
That giveaway was tragic, Apple.
It was very tragic. And for those of you guys who are on YouTube, come over to our Twitch channel. The giveaway is happening on our Twitch. It's not happening on YouTube. I'll give a little bit more time for you guys to come through. Twitch.tv/Elgato. I'm sure our mods have already posted a link to our Twitch channel. And then you just have to type voice focus in our chat.
You can type it in YouTube, but you won't win.
Yeah, that's true.
Why is that, by the way? Again, as someone who's just ignorant, why can't we do it on YouTube? Is it the tool that we use or
YouTube's don't have, do they have bots? Like, like some like
I think
Nightbot or
it's a
something?
I know there's like Nightbot, but
I think it's
yeah,
just a tool. I think we had to just look
Yeah.
into see if it's I think at the time it wasn't available. Like, I
Also,
think
another
it's as
thing
long
is
as a
that
bot
YouTube doesn't
supports it.
have, was it DMs? So it's like, even if we can pick the winner,
Oh,
it's a little more, there's a lot more steps in trying to contact them versus
true.
just on Twitch. It's
just have
just
them post your
more.
email in the chat. No big deal.
Yeah, no messaging system on YouTube, that too. Exactly. Exactly. It's just easier on Twitch. A lot easier here. All right,
Okay.
guys. I think it's time. Drum roll for the winner.
Okay.
Let's see. Also, one more thing I want to
Hands.
mention, guys. One more thing I do want to mention. To make this all fair, reminder, it is 1 entry per person. 1 human being. If we catch you using multiple accounts, we will ban you and you will be disqualified. So,
Uh-oh.
a little heads up. This is like a little heads up here, right? We gotta make it fair for everyone. 1 account only. 1 per person. All right?
We use AI to catch the bots.
So, all right. Sweet. Let's do this, guys. Good luck. Have fun. 3,
All right, 5.
2. Oh, imagine my stream just crashes again now. It's like, oh, oops,
Oh my
joking.
god.
Okay. All right. Winner is blasphemy_LS3.
Congrats,
Ooh, wait,
Blasphemy,
they might not be following
LS3.
us. They might not be following us,
Oh
actually.
no!
Oh, it says following status is
Oh,
unknown. Can someone check?
Dude.
Blasphemy underscore LS3.
It's already in the name.
Let me see. Can someone check this user for me?
Oh no.
Ooh,
Oh no.
they just followed.
So
Oh no.
Oh. Ooh.
that's like winning the lottery and then writing the numbers, or like lottery pull and then writing the numbers quickly on a piece of paper. Like, look, I won.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know, man. That's
yeah, they said no. They are here to just type something, but blasphemy. You
no. I
weren't
feel for
following
you.
us. You weren't following us.
Them's the rules. Gots to follow the rules, folks. So everyone hit follow real quick. If you're already following, you're all set.
Let's see. Well, was it? Yeah. If you're already following, you're all set.
And everyone's, yeah, I mean, we did call it out right before too.
We
So
did. We did call out. We did call her out.
Okay, so now what? How do we do a reroll?
Alright, easy. This is an easy thing. Let's see. Which I'm looking for the tab. One second. I'm looking for a tab I'm in. Alright. So, time to reroll for a new winner, guys.
And the winner for
Let's
viewer
see.
of the day is
I just want to double check though. Like, blasphemy. Because sometimes the bot can be wrong, you know? Sometimes it could be wrong.
can you see a timeline of when they followed and unfollowed?
It says 1 minute ago. Ugh. Wait, let me see. Let me double check because I want to be fair, you know? If by chance they were already following us, that's fine. But
What if I unfollow and refollow? What happens?
someone said he did it after. Here, let me check my tab real quick. Create a tab.
here. In the meantime, everyone,
Yeah.
we'll do a little.
In the meantime.
Just looking around. Nothing going on. Nothing's happening here. Don't worry. We're figuring it out.
Oh yeah, let me see. So if I
Ooh.
unfollow and
No, yeah, it does say
refollow.
that he
Yeah,
just followed 2 minutes ago. I think it was right as soon as he called his name because Nightbot does say this follow status was he's not following.
Big oof.
All right, we got to re-roll, folks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We had to
gotta call
reroll
it.
here. All right. I double checked. Yeah, I warned like 5 minutes before. Yep. All right, guys. It is time. 07's in chat, guys. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rerolling. TSM underscore Imperial High. Are you in chat?
All
They have been
TSM?
following us for 13 days. They're here. Alright. Congrats
TSM?
on your wave 3. So it shows, what's really nice about Nightbot is that I don't have to look at the chat. It's just, it shows up their chat within Nightbot itself. So it will just only show up if they do respawn. Once they respawn, it pauses the timer. So TSM respawned within 2 seconds of being the name called and has been following us since 13 days ago.
Let's go TSL mid.
Yeah. Congrats on the wave 3. Please make sure that your Twitch DMs are open. I'll be contacting you via Twitch DMs within like 30 minutes after the stream ends. If you don't receive a DM from Elgato on Twitch, then your DMs are probably closed. So check your settings. And then just send a DM over to Elgato and, you know, I'll handle it from there. But double check that your DMs are open. All right, perfect. DMs are open. Sweet. I'll be contacting you shortly. And for everyone, GGs. You know, have a great one. I was gonna say GGs, but
GG's. All right, GG,
GG,
folks.
dude.
All right,
folks.
good
GG.
games. No read.
Good
luck.
games.
All right.
Have fun.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys Friday. Don't forget, this Friday we are hosting another Discord Q&A and a giveaway, so don't miss out. You guys will.
So
There will be a giveaway, an exclusive giveaway during the Discord Q&A, 2 p.m. PT this Friday with James and I. So stop on by, learn
Come
more
join
about
us.
Wavelink
Have
2.0,
fun.
or yeah, have fun, join us, learn more, get your questions answered. Alright, let's go and
Bye.
find
All
someone
right.
to raid. And then we're
I
gonna
was so
oh,
ready
yeah,
to
yeah.
just wave
We'll
and be by,
alright,
but
we're going by, don't worry, we're going by. Alright. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for stopping by.